The National Broadcasting Company presents the National Football League. Today from Arrowhead Stadium, it's the Pittsburgh Steelers versus the Kansas City Chiefs. Brought to you by Budweiser. Beechwood aged for that clean, crisp taste. This Bud's for you. By the U.S. Armed Forces. It's a great place to start. And by Visa, the official card and traveler's check for the 1988 Olympic Games.
Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City, where today the Chiefs' regular players take the home field for the first time since the opening week of the season as they meet the Pittsburgh Steelers. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Kansas City. Tom Hammond along with Michael Jackson, who for 8 years was a standout linebacker with the Seattle Seahawks. It's a beautiful afternoon, a sunny afternoon in Kansas City, as the Steelers, with a record of 4-3, meet the Chiefs, who won that opening game here, but since have lost 6 in a row. And, Michael, the Steelers have one of the best ground games in the NFL, but it's sputtered the last couple of weeks.
For the past couple of weeks, the Pittsburgh Steelers' ground game has sputtered. Last week in Miami, Ernest Jackson was totally bottled up. And if the Steelers can't run the ball, then they have very little chance of winning the game. Conversely, for the Kansas City Chiefs, Christian Okoye is having a great season. He's a rookie, and he leads all rookie rushers right now in this league.
So we'll see a couple of fine runners today, including Jackson, who ranks as the NFL's top ground gainer at the moment. We'll also see some quarterbacks. In fact, each of these teams currently involved in a quarterback controversy.
For the Pittsburgh Steelers, Mark Malone has completed only 42% of his passes. The Steelers are not very happy with that. Bubby Brister could see action because of that. For Kansas City, Bill Kenney's left wrist was broken last week in Chicago. They have a controversy. Blackledge started the season. He didn't do very well, completed a touchdown pass every 31 passes, and Kenney has come on to complete a touchdown pass every 11 passes, so now he has a starting job. But it should be an interesting game to see who comes out on top.
And the Kansas City Chiefs have won the toss, and they'll receive. The Pittsburgh Steelers will kick it off to get this game underway. There's Gary Anderson, the Steelers kicker. And going deep for the Kansas City Chiefs, we have Moriarty and Palmer, along with Mark Robinson, number 30, whom you saw there momentarily. This kickoff sponsored by Budweiser, the king of beers. This will be Palmer, who takes it at the 11. Has a lane up the middle and is finally upended at the 30-yard line. He had one man to beat, but Larry Griffin made a saving tackle. Bill Kenney leads his offense onto the field, and here's the way they'll line up for the Chiefs this afternoon. The Chiefs offense, the lowest rated in the NFL, but Kenney comes off a 4-touchdown passing day against the Bears last week. Carson, 16 receptions, 3 touchdowns the last 2 games. Okoye, 272 yards, the leading ground-gaining rookie in the NFL. And you see the offensive line, Alt, the man to watch there. He's the best up front. First down for the Chiefs. Okoye and Moriarty, the split backs behind quarterback Bill Kenney. And the give is to Okoye. The rookie is thrown back by the middle of that Pittsburgh defense, and he maybe got to the line of scrimmage. Mike Merriweather led the charge for the Steelers. Here's the way they line up for the Steelers defensively. Only 6 sacks, the lowest in the NFL. Willis and Dunn have 1 each. The Steelers have a good linebacking core, all veterans. Hinkle was last year's team MVP. As you look at the linebackers, Merriweather has been to the Pro Bowl the last 3 years. And the Steelers lead the NFL with 15 interceptions. Donnie Shell with 51, tops among active NFL players. 2nd and 9, Palmer joins Moriarty in the backfield for the Chiefs. Kenney will put it up for the first time. Incomplete, intended for Palmer out of the backfield. You see the numbers there on Bill Kenney, who's hit on 56.6% of his passes, and playing today with a soft cast on his left wrist, which he fractured a week ago against the Bears. 5 defensive backs, the nickel package in for the Steelers, including Rod Woodson, the rookie out of Purdue, who sees his first action for the Steelers. Page, Marshall, and Carson, 3 wide receivers. Kenney in the shotgun on 3rd and 9. Kenney delivers, incomplete. Intended for Stephon Page, but overthrown by Kenney. Hinkle and Woodson covering for the Steelers. And Kansas City will have to punt. There's Woodson making his first appearance for the Steelers, the very talented rookie from Purdue.
Bill Kenney gets plenty of good protection right here. He just simply overthrows this ball right in the middle. And it's a good thing he did, because Woodson was breaking on that ball very well. He could have picked it off and run it back for quite a long ways.
There's Kelly Goodburn, the replacement punter. And he's kicking to Woodson, who's deep for Pittsburgh. Goodburn didn't have a very good day a week ago against Chicago, and this one hits and then takes a good Kansas City bounce. Wow. Out of bounds at about the 15-yard line. Goodburn got a great roll on that one to put the Steelers way back in their own territory.
It's not a bad way to get the ball down to your opponent just then. He got a good rush put on him, though. Woodburn barely gets that ball off, and then they're falling into him, trying to get to the ball. Apparently, they were blocked into him, so there was no flag on it.
It was a 53-yard punt, and so the Steelers have it at their own 16-yard line. They'll mark it the 16. Mark Malone, the quarterback's going to put it in the air. He's sacked. The ball's loose. Kansas City has a touchdown. Here it is again, Michael. They put the pressure on Malone.
He's coming from behind, and the same thing happened last week. Pittsburgh came out throwing the ball, and unfortunately, this time he gets sacked, fumbles the ball, and they go in for a touchdown. But last week they came out passing the ball on the same kind of situation.
Jack Del Rio knocked the ball loose. Bill Moss recovers it for the Kansas City touchdown. On to try the extra point now is Nick Lowry. And Lowry hits the extra point. He now has hit 135 straight. And Kansas City, off the defensive play, breaks on top. Kansas City leading Pittsburgh 7-0. Jack Del Rio, coming from an outside linebacker spot, knocks the ball loose.
Well, they just simply have an outside linebacker blitz. He comes in there, nobody touches him. He gets Malone from the blind side. The ball falls loose. Bill Moss picks it up for his first NFL touchdown.
Moss, who went to the Pro Bowl as a nose tackle last year, gets credit for a 6-yard fumble recovery and touchdown as you watch it from this angle.
Here you see a lot of pressure coming up the middle. Malone never had a chance on that one.
And Lowry with the kick for Kansas City. It'll be taken by Stone at the goal line. Hit hard at the 25-yard line. The ball might have come loose, a scramble, but I think it'll be ruled down. Mark Robinson really applied the hit on special teams. Here's that Pittsburgh offense now, the 20th ranked NFL offense, led by the embattled Malone, completing just 42% of his passes, the NFL's lowest rated quarterback. Great receiver Stallworth, joined by Calvin Sweeney, replacing the injured Lewis Lips. And of course Jackson, the leading rusher in the NFL, behind that offensive line led by Mike Webster. There's Jackson, who gets the call on first down, takes it to the 31-yard line where he's stopped by Aaron Pearson. Here's the Kansas City defense, that new 4-3 alignment, ranked 27th in the NFL. 4 number 1 picks up front, paced by Still, who had 7 tackles and 3 sacks last week. Linebackers have been a problem, but Del Rio had the big hit on the first series. And one of football's best secondaries, featuring Pro Bowl safeties Burris and Cherry. Ross has a hip injury, and his status in doubt today. Stallworth and Thompson wide left to give to Jackson. Kicks it outside, picks up the first down, and is knocked out of bounds beyond the 40-yard line with a flag on the play. Albert Lewis knocked Jackson out of bounds.
Abercrombie gets to the outside on that, and that's what the Pittsburgh Steelers really rely on. They rely on getting the ball to their runners and letting them make the cuts upfield.
Jim Tunney, the referee, checking out the penalty. I said Jackson carried. It obviously was Abercrombie on the carry, and the good run will be nullified by a penalty against the Steelers.
Well, it's nullified, but it still proves that Pittsburgh is going to run.
Jim Tunney with the penalty call against the Steelers' Terry Long. So it sets up 2nd and 13 now for Pittsburgh. Go ahead, Michael.
That run just shows that Pittsburgh can run the ball against this defense that Kansas City has thrown at it. And Kansas City's defense has not played very well this year either.
Jackson and Abercrombie, the setbacks. Malone. Flag is down, and the play will be whistled dead. And while they sort out this penalty, let's take a look at our 10-minute ticker as the games get underway. No score in those. Whoever would have dreamed that San Diego and Indianapolis.
Number 74, 5 yards, still second down.
Terry Long with a false start. Who would have dreamed that Indianapolis and San Diego would be a battle between two first-place teams? But that's what it is at the Hoosier Dome today.
Well, the strike helped a lot of teams in more ways than one, or it hurt more ways than one.
Second and 18 now for the Steelers, who trailed 7-0 in the first quarter, 12:24 to play. Malone has time. Complete. Stallworth makes the grab close to the first down. J.C. Pearson defending for Kansas City, but the veteran Stallworth gets 18 yards, and it will be very close to a first down. In fact, they'll measure.
This is one of the problems that Kansas City's fine secondary is having. They're having to play a lot of zone defense because of the linebackers problem. Malone has plenty of time. Stallworth just runs down, runs a button hook. He gets hit as soon as he catches the ball, but he picks up near a first down.
Stallworth, the leading receiver for the Steelers this year. That was his 18th catch. And earlier this year went over 500 for his career. The 18th NFL player with more than 500 receptions. He's the 15th leading NFL all-time receiver. And there's Malone, who found Stallworth for the 18-yard gain, and it will be just short of a first down by inches. Third and a few inches for Chuck Noll's team. Blankenship is in at an extra tight end, along with Theo Young. In motion is Young. Abercrombie didn't get much, but perhaps he got enough for the first down. He didn't need much. Mike Bell and Dino Hackett combining to stop Abercrombie.
Dino Hackett's having a very fine year since the replacement of Lewis Cooper and Tim Cofield. They replaced them with the outside linebackers of Jack Del Rio and Aaron Pearson. You see Hackett coming up, making the stop, just hitting up into the middle of that line. But after the problems they were having with their outside linebackers, they made the switch, and they feel like he's playing a lot better because of the two new additions.
Pollard picked up the first down on the run. It was Pollard. He got enough, and it's first down for Pittsburgh. Ernest Jackson. Just shy of the 40-yard line, where he's stopped by Aaron Pearson, the 2-year veteran out of Mississippi State. Jackson, the leading ground gainer in the NFL with 454 yards. He also ranks second in the AFC in total yardage. He has 505 overall, but 454 on the ground.
After last week's game in Miami, the coaching staff and the running backs for the Pittsburgh Steelers had a little bit of a tip in the locker room after the game.
Here's Malone on the play action. Plenty of time. Incomplete. Over the head of Charles Lockett, the intended receiver, with Deron Cherry back in coverage for the Chiefs. Lockett, the deep threat for the Steelers, the rookie out of Long Beach State, might have had it if it had been a little lower.
That's the problem that Malone is having. That's why he's only completed 42%. Here you see he's got plenty of time. He's tracking his receiver all the way across the field. And there again, he simply throws the ball a little bit too high for Lockett to get to. He's got to get that ball down into the hands of the receivers if he's going to be successful.
6 defensive backs in for the Chiefs on 3rd and 7 for the Steelers. The only running back left is Abercrombie. And he gets the handoff. Good running by Abercrombie. Down to the 35-yard line of the Chiefs, where J.C. Pearson makes the tackle. The draw play fools Kansas City, and Pittsburgh comes up with a big first down. It covered 27 yards.
27-yard gain on strictly a draw. Malone drops back, hands the ball to Abercrombie, and he makes 2 good moves right there and just takes off down the field. J.C. Pearson saved the touchdown there. But that's the running game that Pittsburgh wants to get started. They're opening up their running game through the passes now.
Jackson stopped short of the 30-yard line. He got 3 or 4 yards. It'll set up a second down. Del Rio and Bell making the stop for Kansas City. Chiefs leading 7-0 inside the 10-minute mark of the first quarter. First touchdown coming on a Jack Del Rio sack and a 6-yard fumble recovery for the touchdown by Bill Moss of the Chiefs. Charles Lockett set wide to the left. Sweeney is wide to the right. Jackson and Abercrombie, the running backs. Jackson, Walker in front. Cuts up and is taken out of bounds at the 25-yard line, about a yard short of the first down. Pearson knocked him out of bounds at that point.
They ran a counter play that time. They got Terry Long, number 74, out in front of Ernest Jackson. He turned that corner. He barely went out of bounds. Had he had 2 more yards, he may have gone down for a touchdown. But they're running the ball a lot more effectively right now than they did last week the whole game. I think that has to do with that little fight they had in the locker room between reporters and coaches and the running backs.
Pollard replaces Abercrombie in the backfield now. 3 tight ends, Blankenship, Lee, and Young. Malone sneaks it across and gets the first down. Chuck Noll, the only coach to have won 4 Super Bowls, saw his team get in a hole early, but mounting a good drive here on their first extended possession of the game.
He's got to be pleased with what he's seeing right now. He was very concerned about the running game. Malone is still coming out and throwing the ball, but the running game is what's so effective and appreciated by him right now. He likes to see this ball being run down the field.
Pollard and Jackson are the setbacks on first down at the 24 of Kansas City. Malone on the look-in pass, complete to Stallworth, who takes it to the 18-yard line. About a 6-yard gain. It'll be 2nd and 4 coming up for the Steelers. J.C. Pearson seems to be the man they're picking on right now. He's replacing Kevin Ross. Ross, who normally starts at a corner, has a hip injury, and he's gone out. So Pearson, the second-year man out of Washington, replaces him.
Here you see on the screen what happened last week at Miami. Walter Abercrombie led the team in rushing with 52 yards. They only had 97 as a team.
10th play of the drive coming up. And there you see the obvious offside as Terry Long, who's had his problems with the snap count here in the first quarter, commits another penalty. I believe that's his 3rd.
I think what's going on is Chuck Noll has stressed so importantly the running game that everybody wants to come off and do well. I think they're just trying a little bit too hard, the Pittsburgh Steelers. He's gone like a flash. Nobody else is moving. Terry Long, he recognizes his mistake, you can tell.
See that he's bulked up to 265 pounds. He's out of East Carolina, was a 4th-round draft choice in '84. At 5'11", the shortest offensive lineman in the NFL. 2nd and 9 now after the 5-yard penalty. Fumble. And Kansas City has it. Bell on the ball for the Chiefs after Art Still knocked it loose. So a Pittsburgh drive that had been looking good.
Malone hands the ball off to Abercrombie. It didn't look like they made a good connection there, and the ball is out, and plus 10 turnovers, and can't win that way.
Kansas City leading Pittsburgh 7-0 with 8:56 left in the first quarter after the fumble recovery with a first down at their own 14. Okoye, good running up the middle for the rookie, who takes it to the 21-yard line where he's stopped by Brian Hinkle. Here's that fumble recovery again, Michael.
Abercrombie's going to take the handoff from Malone. It didn't look like they made a good handoff. It was a funny type of play there, and the ball is out real quick. Art Still gets it out. Mike Bell comes over and covers it for Kansas City for their 2nd turnover of the game.
So the Steelers already guilty of 2 turnovers, one of them for a touchdown. Paul Palmer in the backfield with Okoye, an all-rookie running back set for the Kansas City Chiefs. And this is Palmer, shakes the tackler, and out of bounds at the 29-yard line. Good running by Palmer, the rookie out of Temple, who is the Chiefs' 1st-round draft choice. He'd only carried the ball twice for 6 yards coming into today's game.
On this run, Christian Okoye is leading Palmer around the corner, and he tries to put a heavy block on the man. You can barely see it there. Palmer gets outside, and he just uses his speed to make he picks up the first down. But Christian Okoye is the one who set that up. His block made the man get out of his way. He actually didn't block anybody. He just got in the way.
First carry for Palmer since the opening game of the season. First down at the 30 for the Chiefs. Kenney got rid of it under pressure. Intercepted by Hall. Delton Hall, the rookie out of Clemson, made the interception for Pittsburgh as Stephon Page was downfield, double covered. And Donnie Shell, putting the pressure on Kenney, forced him to lay it up where Hall could intercept.
Stephon Page goes up here, but Delton Hall's in perfect position to make the interception, and that's a turnover for Kansas City.
Two teams trading replays. This time it'll be Donnie Shell and the safety blitz putting on the pressure.
He puts the pressure on Bill Kenney. Kenney just lets the ball go. He's throwing into double coverage right there. As you see, Delton Hall picks off his first pass today, his second of the season.
And that gives the Steelers 16 for the season. That leads the NFL. Flag down as Abercrombie pounds it up the middle to the 30-yard line, but the penalty flag went down immediately. Jack Del Rio making the stop.
There seems to be something wrong with the cadence of the Pittsburgh Steelers. That's at least 2 or 3 penalties they've had just trying to get the ball snapped.
A reminder that we will be selecting the Budweiser most valuable
number
player.
34, 5 yards and still first down.
Abercrombie guilty of the illegal motion. As you look at the 10-minute ticker, as I was saying, we will be selecting a Budweiser most valuable player coming up at the conclusion of this game. Another costly penalty for the Steelers, who mounted a drive on their last possession and wound up in a fumble. And now Jackson and Pollard in the backfield on 1st and 15. Malone throws a wobbly duck that misses Calvin Sweeney, the intended receiver, by a good 7 yards. Albert Lewis was covering, but the pass not well thrown.
Bill Moss tries to put pressure up the middle on Mark Malone. He's going up against one of his idols, Mike Webster. Moss being taken care of there. Malone has plenty of time to throw the ball. Again, he's tracking his receivers, finds one, and simply lets the ball go, and it slips out of his hand or whatever, but it was not a very well-thrown ball.
Ouija Thompson into the game and set wide on 2nd and 15 for the Steelers. Jackson stopped back at the 15-yard line. Bill Moss making the hit for the Kansas City Chiefs.
Outstanding play by Bill Moss. Again, he's just following the ball down the line of scrimmage, makes the big hit, picks up the tackle. Moss, you see on the right, the screen coming down the line, he just simply beats everyone, gets in there, gets his arms around Jackson and brings him down to the ground.
Rodney Carter enters the game. 4 wide receivers on 3rd and 16. 5 defensive backs for Kansas City. Malone short on the pass intended for Stallworth, coming across the middle. Dino Hackett putting the pressure on Malone, and he unloaded it short.
That's one of the problems with Malone. In the press back in Pittsburgh this past week, they talked so much about how he was throwing underneath the receivers, and that's a prime example of what they mean.
Bubby Brister sharing time in practice this week with Mark Malone, but Malone got the starting call.
Don't be surprised to see Brister in there pretty soon. They've got to get some offense going with the pass. The running game is doing an excellent job, but they need to get the ball downfield passing it too.
Harry Newsom, the punter of the Steelers, having a fine year, and Michael Clemens deep for Kansas City. Newsom standing at his own 1-yard line. They put on the pressure, and they partially blocked it. Clemens on the bounce, retreats, and is taken down at the 41-yard line. Michael, he should have stayed away from the football, I think.
There was simply no place to run that time. I think he made a good decision to pick it up. The ball would have rolled 10 to 5 more yards downfield. He stopped it. He didn't pick up any yardage, but they got the ball.
Tom Hammond and Michael Jackson in Kansas City with a plane flying overhead at Arrowhead Stadium, and very appropriately so, because Frank Gans, the former fighter pilot in his first year as the Kansas City Chiefs coach, and we had an interesting conversation with him yesterday.
Very engaging personality. I think he ordered that plane to fly over today.
I don't think that was the kind of plane he ordered, but he says when he sees those jets, he gets excited. And He said there are a lot of similarities between being a jet pilot and being an NFL head coach. His team right now leading 7-0, 6:40 first quarter with a first down at the 43 of the Chiefs. Okoye picking his way forward, bounces off a tackler and takes it to the 46-yard line. David Little makes the stop for Pittsburgh. As you look at the scores, McMahon hit Neil Anderson for a 59-yard touchdown pass in that Bear game. Okoye got 3 yards on the last play as the Chiefs lead the Steelers 7-0. Just over 6 minutes left in the first quarter at Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City. 2nd and 7. Okoye and Moriarty, the running backs. Okoye got maybe 2 yards as he's stacked up by the center of the Pittsburgh defense with David Little, the #1 tackler for the Steelers, making the stop. He had 32 tackles coming into today's game. 7th-round draft choice out of Florida and a 7-year veteran.
Christian Okoye is a big man to bring down. He weighs 253 pounds, runs a 4.4 40-yard dash. If he gets a head of steam up, he's going to be hard to bring down today.
3rd and 5, and Bill Kenney still looking for his first completion of the day. He's 0 for 3. Sweeney in motion as Kenney retreats to pass and completes his first pass for a short gain to Carlos Carson, but well short of the first down. Dwayne Woodruff took Carson down after a short gain.
More importantly than that, Bill Kenney got up holding on to that left wrist, which is already in a cast, so they could be in a little bit of trouble right now. You see Stephon Page pointing over at his quarterback there on the sideline. Somebody come and get him.
And he told us yesterday that it hurts to take a snap, it hurts to hand off. Doesn't hurt quite so much to pass, but should he take a blow on it, which he did then, he could be in trouble. Here's Goodburn with the punt for Kansas City. Low line drive kick. Woodson at the 11. Hit hard and taken out of bounds at the 22-yard line. Punt covered 40 yards, and Pittsburgh will have it. Jonathan Hayes made the stop for the Chiefs. This telecast presented by authority of the National Football League and intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of the telecast without the expressed written consent of the Kansas City Chiefs and the National Football League is prohibited. This game is the property of the National Football League, the Kansas City Chiefs, and the Pittsburgh Steelers, all rights reserved. 7-0, Kansas City leading Pittsburgh, 4:42 left in the first quarter. First down Steelers at the 23. Abercrombie takes it to the 28-yard line.
Bill Kenney takes a hit here. You see him in the middle of your screen there. He gets taken out of the play on the side there. And he's just going to slowly get up at the top of your screen. Bill Kenney holding it. You know it hurts. It's on the top right behind number 76 there. You can tell that hurts. Anytime you have a fractured wrist and you get hit on it, it's going to hurt a little bit.
2nd and 4, the Steelers. Jackson. Might have been an audible by Malone as you saw the backs reset. The handoff went to Jackson, and he got a couple of yards. Aaron Pearson, outside linebacker for the Chiefs, making the stop. Chiefs linebackers have been a problem, as a matter of fact, and Del Rio and Pearson moved outside for better pass coverage as Todd Blackledge loosens up on the sideline and may be coming in for Kenney.
This could be an interesting situation right now. Todd Blackledge is warming up, but he's warming up with Sire down on the sideline. So one of the two will be in, it looks like.
Frank Sire could be coming in. The coaching staff thinks very highly of him out of Kansas. On the sweep, Jackson. He's got the first down and more. Midfield, out of bounds, at about the 43-yard line of the Chiefs. Albert Lewis made the saving tackle as Jackson rambled for the first down behind a good block by Abercrombie, 25 yards.
He got a good block by Walter Abercrombie, and also they pulled the left guard, Craig Wolfley. He was out leading that block. Number 73 in the middle of your screen there. He comes around the corner, and a big man like that, it's hard to get around. Opens up the field for Jackson. He just rambles down the field for 25 yards until he's pushed out of bounds. That's what the Steelers want to get going. Noel really likes that. He likes to see his team running up and down the field.
Jackson taking a break on the sideline after giving the Steelers a first down. Mark it at the 40 of the Chiefs. Pollard got about 3 yards before he was thrown back by the center of the Kansas City defense.
Kansas City has moved from a 3-4 back to the 4-3 with the addition of Mike Bell this year, and they have had some problems trying to adjust to that. That's why I think they will be vulnerable to the run. Their defense is giving up 379 yards per game, 150 of it on the ground.
Number 10 is Frank Sire, who's loosening up on the sideline. He was expected to contend for a starting quarterback job in preseason, but had an auto accident in May, had some severe ligament damage to his left ankle, and just was activated 2 weeks ago before the San Diego game. On 2nd and 6, the Steelers keep it on the ground, and Pollard is stopped at the line of scrimmage by Mike Bell.
On that play, Mike Bell lined up at right end, but he was in a 2-point stance instead of the 3-point stance you normally see the defensive line in. They're shooting the outside linebackers along with Mike Bell or Art Still, and that's how they're closing off that middle.
Rodney Carter, Weegee Thompson, John Stallworth, Calvin Sweeney all in the game at wide receivers for the Steelers on 3rd and 5. Ball at the 35-yard line of Kansas City. The Chiefs come with 6 defensive backs. Malone is sacked. Mike Bell gets the sack.
Mike Bell lined up again at right end and just bowled over Ray Penny, the left tackle. Comes around there. A lot of strength in that man. He's come back from one heck of a season last year. In fact, he missed last year. Mike Bell, you see him at the top of your screen. Ray Penny, number 65, trying to keep him out of there. Mike Bell just bowls over him and gets to Malone.
He just ran right through Penny to get the sack.
He's playing with conviction this year.
There's Mike Bell. He was away from football over a year, missed all of 86 and the last 5 games of 85 after his arrest on a drug-related charge. Harry Newsome on to punt for the Steelers on 4th down. Clemens fakes the fair catch and lets it go, and it bounds into the end zone for the touchback. So Kansas City will have the ball 1st and 10 at the 20. Let's see who reports at quarterback. It's going to be Kenney. Kenney shaking off the injury to his left wrist. You saw him holding it after that last series. So Todd Blackledge remains on the sideline for the Chiefs. Blackledge started the first 2 games of the season for Kansas City, but after the strike was over and the regular players returned, it was Bill Kenney at the helm for Frank Ganz's club. "7-0 Chiefs with a minute 24 left in the first quarter. Okoye, the lone setback. Okoye, bouncing off tacklers, takes it down to the 28-yard line. The ball came loose, but they're going to rule it down. It'll still be Kansas City's football. Thomas Everett in the secondary for the Steelers stopped Okoye.
For a big man of 253 pounds, Christian Okoye put on an excellent move right here. You see him in the middle of your screen, stop and cut back to the left, and he picks up about 8 yards. Interesting fact is all the carries he's had this year, he's only fumbled 2 times, and that one cost the game last week against Chicago.
As you can see on the replay, the ground clearly caused the fumble, which means it was correctly ruled down, and it's 2nd and 2 for Kansas City. Okoye takes it across the 30, and if they mark it there, they will. It'll be a Kansas City 1st down. Donnie Shell up from that strong safety spot making the tackle for Pittsburgh, but not before the rookie Okoye out of Azusa Pacific got the 1st down yardage.
There's going to be a lot of sore bodies waking up tomorrow if they keep running Okoye like they're running him right now. Robin Cole was also in on that. He just got bowled over by Okoye.
Okoye was the first Chief player to gain over 100 yards in his NFL debut, and he gained 105 against San Diego, and the Chiefs only win so far to open the season. Kenney, he's sacked at the 20-yard line. David Little, one of the inside linebackers, coming on the blitz with Mike Merriweather, and they took Kenney down for the loss as the first quarter comes to an end. So the defenses have dominated in the first quarter. The Kansas City Chiefs leading 7-0. Kansas City leading Pittsburgh as we get ready for the second quarter. It's 7-0 Chiefs. The only touchdown of the game scored on a defensive play. The defenses have really dominated so far. And Michael, it appears that Kenney's wrist is bothering him. That could be a factor in the game.
Well, it's going to bother him anytime you have that fractured wrist, and it is on the outside of the left wrist. You're going to have a problem with it. If he gets hit again, then you can look to see sire or blackledge in there.
And you had a look at the cast, the soft cast worn on the wrist of Bill Kenney, who was sacked on the last play of the first quarter, setting up a 2nd and 21 for the Chiefs. Premature movement by the Chiefs. That'll be 5 yards illegal procedure. Mark Addix moved prematurely, and here is that sack that ended the first quarter as Kenney's taking a beating today.
You've got basically a 7-man line up there for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Robin Cole, David Little are coming right up the middle. I'm sorry, Merriweather, they're coming up the middle. Nobody's picking them up.
First sack of the season. We'll award it to David Little. Mike Merriweather was in there too. Remember, that's a seldom seen thing for the Pittsburgh defense. They came into the game with only 6 sacks, lowest in the NFL.
5 yards, still 2nd down.
Well, I thought Addix had pulled back into pass blocking prematurely, but they rule that Pittsburgh was offside. As you look at the first quarter stats, the Steelers have effectively run the ball so far. The Chiefs have not. Steelers with a big edge in total yards, but trailing on the scoreboard 7-0. Kenney takes the pass and then hands it to Moriarty. He pounds ahead across the 30 to the 32-yard line, where he's tackled by Gerald Williams.
That's one of the plays that we saw them running yesterday in practice. Basically a Statue of Liberty. He comes back, fakes the pass, and hands the ball off to Moriarty up the middle.
And as you look at the scores, we check the injured player. It's Walt Arnold, the Kansas City tight end. 7-0, the Chiefs leading as we take a timeout for the injury. We'll be back to Arrowhead in just a moment. Tom Hammond and Michael Jackson, Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City, where Walt Arnold, the Chiefs tight end, is on the ground being tended to. Can you see what happened, Michael, as we look at the replay?
Well, he's got his position on the right-hand side of your screen there. And basically, I think what happens, he just gets run over. He gets pushed back into the middle and gets the knee collapsed, the knee or ankle. He falls down, and hopefully it's not too bad. I can't really tell what happened on that replay.
Arnold, number 87, as you saw, maybe had the legs taken out from under him and is being helped onto a cart now to be taken from the field.
Anytime you're standing up in the middle of a crowd there like he was with Brian Hinkle, you have that chance, or you stand that chance of being run over by one of your own men, and I think that's what happened. His own man ran over his ankle or his knee.
Walt Arnold, the 8-year veteran out of New Mexico.
Doesn't seem to be in too much pain, but then again, we're up here and he's down there. Maybe you'll be able to see something here. 53's got a hold of number 87, Arnold, and you see right there at the bottom of your screen, his knee looked like it did cave in just a bit, and in fact, quite a bit. And that may be something, that may be what happened to him.
Arnold leaving with that inflatable cast, I suppose it is, holding it rigid. You see his right leg with that brace or inflatable cast on it. 3rd and 11 for Kansas City. Kenney goes deep. He's got Carson. Carlos Carson beating Thomas Everett on the play for a Chief first down, as Kenney and Carson, that favorite passing combination of the Chiefs, hook up for 39 yards.
Well, Kenney has plenty of time again to throw the ball. And what's going on, Carson's running just a post pattern down the middle of the field. There's 2 safeties back there, but nobody's in position to knock the ball away. And a nice play by Carlos Carson there.
Walt Arnold, we're told, has a sprained knee and will be out for the rest of the game. On first down, Christian Okoye fighting for yardage. David Little not yielding much in that Pittsburgh defense.
That was a nice hit by David Little. He stepped right in there and played the ball the way you're supposed to play it, the hard and tough way. Got his shoulder pads in there and brought him down.
And an official's timeout as Christian Okoye a little bit shaken up.
Well, he's been beat up for this season. The Seahawks beat him up pretty bad in the first game that they played in Seattle. And he had a shoulder, he's had thumbnails or something done, and knee last week, I guess. So he's pretty beat up.
See the rushing yardage today with the Steelers having a big edge. And Christian Okoye, the Chiefs' top rusher, being shaken up on that last play. The rookie, a native of Nigeria, went to Azusa Pacific. He's only played football about 3 seasons, still very much learning the game, but he is going to be a great one.
He will be. His teammates, some of them call him the Nigerian Nightmare.
2nd and 9 for Kansas City at the 29 of the Steelers. Palmer and Moriarty, the running backs now. In motion, Hayes, who replaced Arnold at tight end. Palmer gets only a couple of yards. Robin Cole, inside linebacker, the veteran former first-round draft choice, making the tackle for Pittsburgh. There's a look at Okoye over on the bench.
He may have a thigh bruise, or maybe even that shoulder injury has started to react again. Whatever, you know they want to get him back in the game. They just don't seem to be the same running without him.
Okoye, 7 carries for 27 yards. Had gained 272 coming into the game, the leading rookie rusher in the NFL. 3rd and 7 for the Chiefs. Kenney under pressure, finds his man, Hayes, who takes it to the 12-yard line. Looks about the 12 or perhaps the 11. Thomas Everett again making the stop for Pittsburgh as Jonathan Hayes makes a 15-yard reception.
That time, Rod Woodson came over and lined up on him in the nickel position. Kenney drops back and just dumps the ball over the middle. Jonathan Hayes got around Rod Woodson and picked up the first down. But it was interesting that time to see Woodson come up and try to jam. The only reason he was open is Woodson missed the jam. You can't do that in man-to-man coverage.
Woodson getting his feet wet in his first game for the Steelers, their top-round draft choice. Beaten that time. First down at the 12. Kenney incomplete, intended for Hayes. Good coverage by the linebacker Brian Hinkle that time. Check the other scores now around the NFL. And Green Bay with a 2-yard run by Brent Fullwood. The rookie has taken a 14-7 lead over the Bears. Remember last week, Kansas City leading virtually the entire way against Chicago before faltering in the 4th quarter. Christian Okoye shaken up for Kansas City, has injured his shoulder, a strained shoulder. He may not be back. 2nd and 10. Hand off to Moriarty. He gets nothing. Keith Gary making the stop for Pittsburgh.
Kansas City seems to like that, faking the pass and then hand the ball off behind or in front and let the running back find a hole somewhere. But that time there was no hole. Keith Gary was there to make sure of that. There you see Christian Okoye again. He's just indicating to the coach that he was trying to deliver a forearm, and maybe that's how he hurt his shoulder again.
3rd and 10 coming up for Kansas City. Remember, the defense has scored the only touchdown of the game. It's 7-0 Chiefs. Kenney, plenty of time. Flag down. Touchdown. Stephon Page made the reception and crawled into the end zone, but there is a flag on the play. And it will be a holding against Kansas City, and that will nullify the touchdown.
Well, with that much time, you got to figure that there's going to be holding somewhere. Ineligible downfield.
First he said holding, did Jim Tunney, and then he says ineligible receiver downfield.
Well, they had so much time. Maybe one of the linemen thought he'd get down there. Watch this time that he's got. He's just sitting in the pocket. He's not got nervous feet. He finds 4 or 5 receivers and finally gives the ball to Page, and he crawls his way into the end zone. Nice effort there. Unfortunately, it's going to be called back.
There are 2 fouls on Kansas City. Holding number 72 is accepted. An ineligible player downfield is declined. It'll still be 3rd down.
So 2 penalties on the play, ineligible downfield, and a hold on David Lutz, number 72.
I don't see the holding, not from that replay there. I just didn't see the holding. The ineligible, maybe that was there. But that's a nice effort by Stephon Page to get into the end zone.
3rd and 20 now for Kansas City as Rod Woodson, the rookie, comes in the nickel package for the Steelers. Edmund Nelson is also in as they rush with 4 on 3rd and 20. Kenney's pass intercepted by Thomas Everett. Intended for Paul Kaufman, and Everett timed it perfectly for his first interception of the season, the rookie out of Baylor.
That's a second turnover for Kansas City.
There was a penalty on the play against Kansas City. It'll be declined.
Kaufman's going to go down and run a corner route. Just means you're going to go into the corner. Thomas Everett times it just perfectly with one hand, runs out of bounds, gives the ball to the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Tom Hammond and Michael Jackson in Kansas City, where the Steeler defense has just picked off its 17th pass of the season.
Bill Kenney comes back. He's throwing a timing route. It looks like he gets back there, plants, and throws the ball, but it's picked off by Thomas Everett, his first of the year, and here's his reaction to that.
This is the 6th game with at least 2 interceptions for the Steelers this year. They have it at their own 10. Ernest Jackson takes it just shy of the 15-yard line. They got about 4. Aaron Pearson takes him to the turf at that point.
We've had a pretty exciting game between the 10s on both sides of the field right now. Nobody seems to be able to get into the end zone except for the defense of the Kansas City Chiefs.
Well, the defenses are making the big plays today. That's something you as a former linebacker must enjoy.
I love it. You gotta love this game.
Jackson, the leading rusher in the NFL, held in check the last 2 games, but off to a good start here today. He got 4 on that last one. It's 2nd and 6. Malone completes it to Stallworth, and the Steelers have a first down. J.C. Pearson hanging on to Stallworth, but the Steelers, starting at their own 10, have now advanced it out to their 27-yard line.
That's a nice, safe pass for Malone. He's throwing to a veteran working up against J.C. Pearson, a second-year guy out of Washington. And he needs some passes like that just to get the confidence level going for him. Like I said, he's throwing a completion ratio of 42%, but that's not very good.
Spot the ball at the 27, make it 1st and 10 for the Steelers, who trail Kansas City 7-0. 9 minutes, 15 seconds left in the first half. Malone's pass, again complete to Stallworth. J.C. Pearson made the catch. The fans thought he might have trapped it.
I thought he trapped that ball. It looked like he short-hopped it.
It'll go, though, for 13 yards and a Steeler first down as Malone checks and says, is it good? They say yes, although they may be looking at it in the replay booth. Malone having a good start in this game, 4 of his first 7.
That reaction you hear is to the crowd watching Diamond Vision. They think that the ball was trapped. Hard to tell from that angle.
Looked like it might have been good. I thought it was a good catch. First down for Pittsburgh at the 40. Pitch to Abercrombie. Good running room. Takes it to the 45-yard line to the 47, where Dino Hackett nudges him out of bounds.
Abercrombie was the leading rusher last week for the Pittsburgh Steelers, and he's starting off very well again today here. Craig Wolfley that time opened the corner up for Abercrombie. He got out and blocked Mike Bell, knocked him off his feet, got him that corner.
Let's pause now briefly for station identification. This is the NBC Television Network.
You're watching Channel 11, WPXI-TV, Pittsburgh.
2nd and 3 for the Steelers. 7-0 Kansas City leads. Ernest Jackson with a big hole up the middle takes it into Kansas City territory. And he's down to about the 43-yard line, where Deron Cherry and Lloyd Burris, the safeties, have to make the saving tackle.
For the Pittsburgh fans, this has got to be a totally different game than last week. This is such a quick hitting trap right up the middle. Ernest Jackson gets it, gets good blocking, and just breaks it for about 7-8 yards that time. But they have got to be pleased with what's going on today as opposed to last week.
We said at the start of the telecast that the Steelers had to get their running game going, and they are doing that. First down at the 43 of Kansas City. Play action pass. Malone scrambles and then throws the pass for Ouija Thompson, and he makes the catch. I thought that it might have hit the carpet, but he made a great catch.
He got those long arms down there, and he picked that up right before it hit the ground. But again, it was not a very well thrown ball by Mark Malone. He gets the completion, and that's one of the things that people have been harping on back in Pittsburgh. He rolls out here, gets pressure, throws the ball. It's a little bit low. Weegee Thompson makes an excellent grab of it, though.
He did indeed make a nice catch. At 6'6", he's the tallest wide receiver in the NFL. He used those long arms to good advantage to pluck it right off the turf. First down at the 33. Steelers on the move. This drive began at the 10. Jackson. Strong running by Ernest Jackson, who twists and turns his way for a first down. J.C. Pearson able to wrestle him to the turf, but just barely.
They're getting a lot of good blocks in front of Ernest Jackson. I think a lot of that has to do with Wolfley right there pulling out Abercrombie. You see leading the way, and the rest of it just done on his own. He runs over a man here and spins, turns, twists, and picks up the first down.
Cocroft getting a piece of the tackle as Lloyd Burris, the Pro Bowl strong safety of the Chiefs, shaken up on the play and replaced by Mark Robinson. First down at the 21.
Going with an audible, it seems.
Malone across the middle, intended for Stallworth, but short. Deron Cherry was right there on the coverage. There have been some passes completed against the Chiefs this year, but most of them have been underneath. That great secondary covers well deep, but it's the linebackers on the underneath coverage that have been the problem.
That's the weakness of the Chiefs defense overall. Their front four does an outstanding job. Their defensive secondary also the same. Their linebackers are spotty, though.
Second and 10 coming up from the Steelers, who trail the Kansas City Chiefs 7-0. 6 minutes, 9 seconds left in the first half in Kansas City. Drive so far has covered 69 yards. This is the 9th play, and it's a handoff. Pollard was hit. It was Abercrombie who was hit as soon as he got the football and was taken down for a loss. There is a penalty flag down. Art Still and Jack Del Rio strong against the run that time. And there will be a holding call against Pittsburgh. We saw this happen in the first quarter. They had a good drive going, then a penalty and a fumble took them out of any chance for points.
Well, you can never play successful football and give the ball up, number one, and have penalties that stop a drive, number two. And that's exactly what's been happening out here today.
Already 40 yards in penalties against Chuck Noll.
Holding, 73 offense, 10 yards, still second down.
Craig Wolfley is guilty of the hold. There he is, number 73, the 8-year veteran out of Syracuse.
Simply giving the ball away. You see, there's such a technical way they're calling holding. Wolfley, number 73, was pushing his man out of the way, and they called him a hold.
Second and 20. Malone hangs it up. And a diving interception by Deron Cherry.
They're going to bring that one back.
There is a penalty flag.
Malone did a great job of getting rid of that ball. He hung it up there, and there was contact while the ball was in the air.
Art Still was putting the pressure on Mark Malone. Frank Gans perhaps will see this interception waved off. Deron Cherry still on the turf after making the diving interception.
It was a nice effort, but it's going to go for naught.
As we pointed out, the Chiefs only with 6 interceptions, second lowest in the NFL. That would have been 7, but the penalty against Kansas City will wipe it out.
Malone gets rid of the ball. He's got a lot of heat coming up the middle and outside.
Pass interference, defense, number 29, third early, first down.
Albert Lewis, number 29, guilty of the pass interference. So Kansas City, instead of having the football, will see Pittsburgh in possession at the Chief 21-yard line. It's a first down for Pittsburgh. There's Lewis, who committed the pass interference. Jackson to the 10-yard line. Dino Hackett stopped Jackson, but once he got that head of steam going, he was tough to bring down. I believe Chuck Noll did shake up his ball carriers with a little criticism after the Miami game a week ago. They're running much harder today.
I'm almost positive he did. They're running a different type of trap than they ran last week. They're running a delay counter trap, which gives the ball carrier more time to see where the hole's going to be. He's picking the hole just beautifully today.
First and goal, the ball just inside the 10. Pollard to the 5-yard line. Dino Hackett, leading tackler for the Kansas City Chiefs, joined by Aaron Pearson and combining on the hit. It'll be second and goal coming up for the Steelers. Now inside 5 minutes left in the first half. Steelers looking for a touchdown and an extra point to tie it up. Mark the ball at about the 5-yard line. Jackson again. He's hit at the line of scrimmage and dropped, and it was Aaron Pearson that came with a rush for Kansas City. He hit Jackson the minute he got the handoff, stopped him in his tracks.
He sure did. Jackson gets the ball, and Aaron Pearson's coming through the middle of your screen right there. Nice form tackle there, pushes him back, and then the troops come to the rescue and brings him down. That's one of the reasons they got Aaron Pearson in there, as he's a big hitter too, as well as a nice pass coverage man.
Third and goal from the 4-yard line. 13th play of the drive as we approach the 4-minute mark. For the end zone. Touchdown. Rodney Carter makes the grab for the Steelers as Malone hit him in the corner of the end zone where he had eluded Burris and Lewis.
It's one of the finest passes that I've seen Malone throw in quite a while. He threaded the needle that time. Rodney Carter picked it off right in the middle of the air in front of 2 defenders for the 6 points. He kind of forces this ball, and nobody says you can't do that as long as you get it there. Rodney Carter made an excellent play on the ball.
Carter almost did a 360 turning around to get it, but he got the touchdown, and the extra point by Gary Anderson is good. He's hit 163 in a row, and we've got a 7-7 game with 3:59 left in the second. Pittsburgh Steelers with a beautifully executed drive have tied it 7-7 with 3 minutes 59 seconds left in the second quarter of this game in Kansas City. Don't forget, coming up at halftime on NFL Live, we'll bring you up to date on all the scores and highlights from around the league. Also an interview with Gordy Lockbaum, the Heisman Trophy candidate from Holy Cross. Plays both offense and defense with the Crusaders. He'll be the featured guest at halftime on NFL Live. Anderson with a kickoff for Pittsburgh. Paul Palmer takes it 1 yard deep in the end zone. Palmer hit and dropped short of the 20-yard line at about the 17 by Thomas Everett, who's having a big game for the Steelers. Let's take a look again at the touchdown pass. Mark Malone.
He gets nice time here. He's going to throw a ball to Rodney Carter, and Rodney Carter makes an excellent play. He almost does, like Tom said, a 360 for the touchdown pass. In defense of Malone, nobody said your passes had to be pretty. They just had to be effective, and that one was.
Christian Okoye back into the game for Kansas City, shaking off that strained shoulder and getting the pitch there. He's hit hard. He got a couple of yards on his forward progress. Dwayne Woodruff came up from that cornerback spot and popped him pretty good, and Keith Willis then pounced on for the kill.
Well, Keith Willis was in the backfield before Okoye got going good. He pushed his man all the way back in there and disrupted the path of Christian Okoye that time.
Clock ticking down inside 3.5 minutes. A 7-7 game in Kansas City. Rod Woodson, the rookie, in for the Steelers now on their nickel coverage. It's 2nd and 8. Kenney will put it up. Deflected at the line of scrimmage. It goes incomplete. Mike Merriweather getting a hand up to knock the ball loose, and it falls incomplete.
That was simply just a lack of protection there, or a lack of concentration on Bill Kenney's behalf. The ball looked like it was a little bit low being thrown.
Indianapolis with a couple of field goals leading. Green Bay's lead reduced to 4. As you see the other scores. 3rd and 8 coming up for the Chiefs. and nobody was there. In fact, it went to the Pittsburgh sideline. And a mix-up apparently on the pass routes of his receivers. He went deep down the sideline, no one even close to the ball.
Yeah, I think the receivers saw a blitz or something coming up the middle, and they adjusted their route, and Kenney didn't pick it up, or some miscommunication of some sort happened there.
Fourth down in a punting situation for Frank Gans and his Chiefs. Kelly Goodburn is on in punt formation. There's Goodburn. And Rod Woodson is deep for the Steelers. Low snap. Goodburn gets it away. Woodson hit. He managed to hold on to the football, but Sherman Cockcroft got there the same time as the football and stopped Woodson in his tracks. A 48-yard punt with no return.
Sherman Cockcroft was with the Seattle Seahawks for a year that I was there. Played very well on special teams there as well. You see him get down. He times his hit just perfectly, so Woodson gets his 2 yards to catch the ball. Then he makes a legal hit. Very exciting play for him.
Woodson's had a pretty tough welcome to the NFL today. A couple of pretty good hits on him and beaten once in pass coverage. From the 33, Steelers with a first down. Abercrombie. Good running by Abercrombie. Got about 9 yards across the 40 where Mike Bell takes him down.
Abercrombie was just one step away from breaking that. Mike Bell made a touchdown saving tackle just then. He was up in a 2-point stance again. You'll see him come from the right of your screen and make a diving save there because Abercrombie did have blocking in front of him.
A little bit of a counter. They faked it to Jackson, gave it to Abercrombie. And they've got a 2nd and 1. Jackson has the first down, stopped at the 45-yard line by Art Still. Approaching the 2-minute warning here at Kansas City.
This is exactly what Chuck Noll wanted to do. He wanted to get his team running the ball well, keep them in the game, and use up that clock. He's not big on long plays or fast touchdowns.
We've got the 2-minute warning in Kansas City. The Steelers and the Chiefs tied 7-7. Tom Hammond and Michael Jackson again at Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City. 7-7 game, and the Steelers rushing game back in gear today. 156 yards so far in the first half. In the first half a week ago against Miami, they had only 65 yards, wound up with 97 for the game. That running game back in high gear.
Well, they've got it back in high gear, and that's exactly what Chuck Noll wants. You know, their rushing average per game is 139, and they've already exceeded that in the first half.
8 first downs in that last drive and 13 for the game. The only Kansas City score, remember, came from their defense. Here's Malone. Throws into double coverage, and it's picked off by Cherry. Deron Cherry picking up blockers at the 45, down to the 38 of Pittsburgh. Bad decision by Malone. Deron Cherry with the interception. He returns it 31 yards. That's his 3rd interception of the season. He leads the Chiefs.
Well, it was a bad decision by Malone to throw. He gets a little pressure from Mike Bell there. He lets the ball go, and he's throwing again into double coverage. You see 3 men there, but he's throwing into double coverage. Deron Cherry has no choice or no problem picking that one off. He makes a nice little run at the end there, too. Gets down below those big guys so he doesn't get hit too hard.
Mark Malone after throwing the interception, and Cherry picking off his 3rd of the season. First down at the 39 of Pittsburgh. 1:48 left in the half. Kenney's pass wide open. Complete to Carson, who takes it to the 25-yard line. 14 yards and a cheap first down as the clock approaches 1:30.
It looked like Bill Kenney wanted to throw the ball.
And the Chiefs take a timeout. We'll be right back. Mark Malone having just thrown an interception for the Steelers, and the Chiefs have it with a first down at the 25 of Pittsburgh. Pass is complete to Moriarty, who's taken down at the 30 for a loss on the play. Brian Hinkle smelled that one from the outset, and Moriarty never had a chance.
That looked like the twin of the last play they ran right before the timeout. Kenney looked like he was trying to flare the ball out to the left side and threw downfield to Carson instead. This time he made the wrong decision.
Chiefs with 2 timeouts left as we approach the 1-minute mark. Here's that interception by Malone. Into double coverage. Cherry picks it off.
He just kind of floats that ball out there. It was a bad decision to make that throw.
2nd and 14. Kenney across the middle, complete to Kaufman for a short gain to the 25. He's immediately stopped by Robin Cole, and Kansas City takes its 2nd timeout, stopping the clock with 42 seconds. There's Deron Cherry, 34 career interceptions for the Pro Bowl man, who is in his 7th year out of Rutgers. He's been to 4 straight Pro Bowls. He's also good against the run. In fact, has had over 100 tackles for 4 straight years. Stay with us now at halftime. NFL Live will bring you up to date on scores and highlights with Bob Costas, Ahmad Rashad, Paul McGuire, Frank DeFord, and also what should be an interesting interview with Gordy Lockbaum. I'd love to see him win the Heisman Trophy. At a Holy Cross, a 2-way player. It'd be an outside shot, but he is certainly an interesting story in college football. That's coming up at halftime on NFL Live.
This man, Bill Kenney, has an interesting problem on his hand right now. He's thrown 2 interceptions, no touchdowns. He likes to go to Carlos Carson and Stephon Page down here. And with 3rd down, 9 to go from the 25, and there's less than a minute left, he's got to go into the end zone this time. They've got to go for the touchdown.
Kansas City has converted only 2 of 6 third downs in the first half. This one is 3rd and 10. Kenney pumps once, and that would have flowed out of bounds.
I'll tell you, that was just an ugly pass there. I don't know who he was throwing that to.
And so as Malone feels the boos at Three Rivers, Kenney hears them here at Arrowhead. And Nick Lowry is on to attempt a field goal. Lowry, the 3rd leading all-time field goal accuracy man in the NFL, 76.2%. He trails Gary Anderson of the Steelers and Morton Anderson of the Saints. There you see the figures. We're seeing 2 of the best in action here today. Anderson of the Steelers and Lowry of the Chiefs, who lines up for a 42-yard attempt. Sire is the holder. It's good. Nick Lowry with the field goal, officially 41 yards, gives Kansas City the lead.
Perfect snap, perfect hold, perfect kick. The Kansas City Chiefs have scored 34 points in the last 2 games against the Pittsburgh Steelers, and their offense has yet to score a touchdown.
In the last game of the season a year ago at Three Rivers Stadium, the special teams and the field goal kickers getting all the points as the Chiefs made it to the playoffs for the first time in 15 years. Today, a fumble recovery for a touchdown, and Lowry's field goal, the 10 points for Frank Gans and the Chiefs. Well, a reminder, November 21st from Hollywood Park, America's Day at the Races, the richest day in all of racing, the Breeders' Cup. It's the Super Bowl of horse racing. 7 races worth $10 million. I'll be there that day. Bob Levy, our director today, will also be on hand. Should be an exciting 4 hours of coverage up for grabs. In addition to the $10 million, the Horse of the Year title. November 21st, the Breeders' Cup.
Don't you have a horse running in that, Tom?
I wish I did. I wish I had one that could run for $1 million. I'll just be watching. Nick Lowry will tee it up for the Kansas City Chiefs. Woodson and Stone are deep for Pittsburgh. Here's Woodson. Good return that time by Rod Woodson, who takes it across the 20 to the 22, where he's hit by James Harrell. Harrell just activated today, one of the replacement players, suiting up with the regulars for the first time. One of 2 replacement players on the Kansas City team.
They picked him up from Detroit, I believe, and he's the oldest linebacker on this Kansas City Chiefs team with 8 years experience in the league.
26 seconds left in the first half. Pittsburgh, after the interception leading to the field goal, now down by 3.
I think they'll keep the ball on the ground for the next 26 seconds.
Just
see what happens.
Prevent defense in for Kansas City. They have 4 defensive backs 20 yards away from the ball. Abercrombie gets the handoff. They keep him in bounds and stop him after a gain of 6. Sherman Cockcroft led the charge. Pittsburgh stops the clock with a timeout. 19 seconds left. Abercrombie 60 yards in the first half.
On that run right there, he looked a lot like Franco Harris, who, of course, was with the Steelers and he came to the Seahawks for half a season. But that run right there reminded me a lot, personally, of Franco Harris's move.
The day began with bright sunshine and warm temperatures here in Kansas City, but the clouds have come in and kind of getting chilly.
Abercrombie comes out of the backfield holding that ball in two hands, and Franco used to do that a lot with the Seattle Seahawks. He comes out and he's holding it in two hands. He's going to put a stiff arm on somebody that's second to none right there. Just pushes him straight down to the ground. I think that's Dino Hackett.
Who were the running backs you played against that were the toughest, most punishing runners as far as stiff arms or lowering that shoulder into you?
Well, there's probably three of them. Number one was Chuck Muncie. Number two, Walter Payton, and number three, John Riggins. Not necessarily in that order, but those three guys were the hardest running people I've ever had to bring down. In fact, I think that some of them are still running. I didn't bring them down good enough.
Pittsburgh Steelers trailing by 3, 19 seconds left. 2nd and 1 at their own 31-yard line. 6 defensive backs in for the Chiefs. And the Steelers keep it on the ground again to Abercrombie. Dino Hackett makes the stop, but Abercrombie has the first down. And the Steelers stop it again with their second timeout. And 15 seconds are left.
I think what they're trying to do is get the ball down close to the 50-yard line and then go deep. They've got one timeout with 15 seconds up. They may be trying to set up another touchdown. Chuck Noll, the master at winning. You see there, third on the list of winning coaches. You can bet he's got some tricks up his sleeves for trying to get in the end zone for this position.
174 victories, 117 losses, and a tie in 19 years as a head coach. In fact, counting his years as a player and an assistant, he's been in the NFL 35 years.
Haven't even been alive 35 years, let alone be in one sport that long. He's had a nice career, though. Very nice.
1st and 10 for Noll's Steelers. 15 ticks of the clock remaining in the first half. Malone's pass deflected. It goes incomplete. Art Still at 6'7", got a big paw in the face of Malone and knocked it down. There's Still, the former All-American at the University of Kentucky. First-round draft choice. Been to the Pro Bowl 4 times. Had a great game a week ago against the Bears.
Sometimes you just have to keep those arms down no matter what it takes. If it takes cutting the guy's knees out or what. Still has those long arms at 6'7". He can get the ball up. He can get up there and knock maybe Abdul-Jabbar's shot down. That time he got Malone's.
He was a pretty good basketball player, as a matter of fact, and his sister is the all-time leading scorer in Kentucky. Malone's pass incomplete, ruled incomplete, intended for Calvin Sweeney, and he short-hopped it. It hit the turf first. Lloyd Burris was covering Sweeney on the play.
Malone seems to be coming maybe three-quarter to sidearm with the ball and not coming over the top hard enough. He seems to be just floating the ball out there. Gans is hollering something out there. He wants to get a chance of blocking a punt. You can bet. He used to be the special teams coach here. And I bet if they run the ball or if they stop the ball, stop the clock with any time left, they're going to go for a block punt.
Saw the figures on Malone, the interception leading to the go-ahead field goal by Kansas City. Abercrombie out of the backfield, got some running room into Chief territory to the 48-yard line, but time runs out. So the Steelers mounting a little drive toward the end of the half, but not getting any points out of it, and it stalls at the 48-yard line of Kansas City as the first half runs out. Chuck Noll with a smile on his face. His team certainly has played better in the first half in the running department. The running game has been potent, and only the interception by Malone has prevented them from going into the locker room with a tie at halftime. It's 10-7 Kansas City as the defense is really predominating in the first half.
The defenses are playing well for both teams. The offense for Kansas City has yet to assert itself. And as you said, Pittsburgh's running the ball. That's what they like to do. Chuck Noll's very happy going in, down by 3. They come back out and start all over again. This is the type of game he likes to play.
All right, at halftime, the Kansas City Chiefs leading the Pittsburgh Steelers by a 10-7 count at Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City. We'll be back after these messages from your local station. Halftime in Kansas City, the Chiefs leading the Steelers 10-7. Kansas City getting a fumble recovery by Bill Moss for a touchdown and a Nick Lowry field goal. Mark Malone to Rodney Carter for the Steelers score. 10-7, the Chiefs. Now let's go to New York. Bob Costas at NFL Live.
We welcome those of you watching games in Minnesota and Kansas City. Bob Costas back at our NFL Live studios in New York. Let's get you updated on what's happening elsewhere. Indianapolis leading San Diego at the Hoosier Dome 13-0. Eric Dickerson has carried 24 times in the first half. Ron Meyer has that feature back he wants. 24 carries for 103 yards. But keep this in mind. He's also got Albert Bentley. So he's got a Rolls-Royce on the field in Dickerson and a Bentley in the garage, and Bentley ran 8 yards for a touchdown in the second quarter. He had well over 100 last week against the Jets. Maybe the Colts are for real. 13-0 over the Chargers. Green Bay leads Chicago 14-13. On the first play from scrimmage for the Bears, Jim McMahon threw a 59-yard touchdown pass to Neil Anderson. After that, the Packers took control. Buffalo just got another touchdown, and they've upped their lead at home over Denver. This one is surprising to 16-0. A look at some of the highlights from that game as Marv Levy's Bills try and even their record at 4-4. This is a second quarter drive. No score in the game at this point. Jim Kelly hands to Rob Riddick. Then Kelly slips out to the left and takes the pass. And when it's all over, the play has covered 34 yards, and it's set up the first Buffalo touchdown. A more conventional play here. Out of the shotgun, it's Kelly to Andre Reed, 9-yard TD and a 7-0 lead. Rob Riddick then blocked the Denver punt. It rolled out of the end zone, good for a safety, and a 9-0 advantage. Buffalo just got another TD, and they're ahead of the Broncos 16-0. Minnesota playing at home and leading at the Metrodome at the half 7-3 over the Raiders. Tommy Kramer starting this game at quarterback for the Vikes in place of Wade Wilson, who had been slumping badly. Kramer with a 1-yard touchdown run on 4th and goal in the second quarter to give the Vikings their advantage. The Raiders twice had 1st and goal. Once they were stopped on downs and gave the ball up without scoring at all, and once they settled for a 21-yard Chris Barr field goal. In the first half, Marcus Allen with 9 carries for 40 yards. Bo Jackson at last check, 2 carries, good for 7 yards. Washington playing at Philadelphia, and the Redskins leading the Eagles 21-7. Darrell Green just returned an Eagle fumble for a Redskin touchdown. Earlier, George Rogers had scored from the 3, and Jay Schrader threw a 19-yard scoring pass to Art Monk. Pittsburgh at Kansas City. That one goes to the half at Arrowhead with the Chiefs trying to snap a 6-game losing streak. That, of course, includes 0-3 by the replacement squad. And they're in front of Chuck Noll's Steelers 10-7. Pick it up in the first quarter. Mark Malone dropping to pass for Pittsburgh. Hit by Jack Del Rio from the blind side. The ball coughed up. Bill Moss falls on it, tumbles into the end zone. 6-yard scoring play and a 7-0 lead. Malone gets the Steelers even early in the second quarter. Rodney Carter on the receiving end of the 4-yard pass. Malone entered the day as the lowest-rated quarterback in the NFL. The margin now in the game, a 41-yard field goal by Nick Lowry of the Chiefs for the 10-7 lead. Cleveland at home and at the half, they lead the Falcons 14-3. How in the world could this have happened? The Falcons took the opening kickoff and kept the ball for 10 minutes and 12 seconds and then punted from the Browns' 43. Kevin Mack has a 1-yard scoring run for Cleveland, and Bernie Kosar a 54-yard touchdown pass to Webster Slaughter. Tampa Bay at St. Louis, the Buccaneers with a 14-3 lead at the half at Busch Stadium on a pair of Steve DeBerg touchdown passes. When we come back
at Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City, we're at halftime with the Kansas City Chiefs leading the Pittsburgh Steelers by a 10-7 count. Here's what happened in the first half. Pittsburgh on its first possession watched Jack Del Rio supply the hit. The ball comes loose. Bill Moss recovers it for a touchdown for Kansas City. Watch it from another angle, Michael.
It's very ironic that Bill Moss, number 63 in the middle of your screen, scores his first touchdown in the NFL against Mike Webster of the Pittsburgh Steelers, whom he idolizes. He is very elated indeed.
The Pittsburgh Steelers, though, got on the board with a beautifully executed drive. They marched all the way downfield, and then Mark Malone finding Rodney Carter in the corner of the end zone for the Pittsburgh touchdown in that first half.
Nice play by Carter to pick up the touchdown there. Nice 360 turn. And, you know, Malone's having a problem throwing the ball. He's just not throwing the ball very well. There's no zip on the ball for him. he's got to get the zip on it. The running game, on the other hand, for the Pittsburgh Steelers is doing very well.
Yeah, of course, Malone threw an interception just toward the end of the first half, and a field goal by Kansas City gave them the lead 10-7. This game very reminiscent of last season, the last game of the regular season, when Kansas City beat Pittsburgh at Three Rivers without scoring an offensive point in the game.
Well, you know, sometimes it seems like your offense takes a day off, but if your defense is playing well and if your special teams are playing well, you still have 2/3 of a chance of winning that game.
Chuck Noll has to be confident that his running game has returned. He knows that he can move the ball against the Kansas City Chiefs. It's just a matter of getting some points. Nick Lowry will kick it off. And this kickoff sponsored by Budweiser, the king of beers. Taken by Stone. Reverses his field and is tackled at the 22-yard line. Downfield, Todd Howard making the stop for Kansas City as Mark Malone and company set up shop at their own 22-yard line. 10-7, Kansas City leading. Getting a field goal just before halftime after Deron Cherry picked off a Mark Malone pass.
It'll be interesting to see what they do on the first series of this game. Number one, they've got to get enough players in the ball game, do the Steelers.
And it's going to be the extra man finally coming on. I didn't see who it was. It was Theo Young, another tight end. There are the first half stats, with the Steelers dominating the stats, but not the score. Ernest Jackson stopped by Mike Bell and Chuck Noll's team. Right back to the ground game. That was successful for them in the first half.
It sure was. They had 180 yards rushing in the first half. That's more than they had in the last two games put together.
There's Ernest Jackson, who is approaching 100 yards as we begin the third quarter. 2nd and 8 for Pittsburgh. Malone's pass complete to Stallworth at the 30. He's going to be about 2 yards short of the first down. J.C. Pearson prevented him from getting first down yardage. But the veteran Stallworth with another grab already holds 6 Pittsburgh receiving records and the 15th leading NFL all-time receiver. Over 8,000 yards in his career and 5 grabs today.
Adding to that quite extensively. The Pittsburgh Steelers are working a lot on J.C. Pearson, the second-year man from Washington, because Kevin Ross is hurt.
Blankenship, Lee, and Young, 3 tight ends. They keep it on the ground to Abercrombie, who is close to the first down. Art Still wrapped up his legs and took him down. It'll depend on the spot of the football.
Kansas City Chief players think they stopped the first down, but the officials are going to measure anyway, just to make sure.
Jim Tunney calls in the chains. First possession of the second half. The Steelers close to a first down. They trail 10-7. So many players around, I really can't see. Did he make it or not?
No, they're a little bit short, just a little short.
Just a couple of inches short of the first down. Chuck Noll facing a decision. To try to pick it up 4th and inches, or do you punt it away?
He's going for it. 4th and inches on the 32-yard line. He's confident in his rushing game today.
What a difference a week makes. They've got the running game going in high gear today, and they'll try to call on it one more time on 4th and inches. Malone on the sneak. He didn't get much, but he only needed a couple of inches. Again, the spot of the football becomes crucial in this situation. Noll deciding to go on 4th down, backed up in his own territory.
Well, they were spotted on the 32 the last time. He seems to have picked up at least half a yard. I think they do have the first down.
Your eyes are better than mine, then. They're going to measure it.
Oh, I'm positive they got it.
It is a first down for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Noll's gamble pays off. Here's how it happened.
Just a simple quarterback sneak. He sneaks into the right side of his line. Does get pounded quite a bit, but the spot of the ball is what matters, and he got the first down. A lot of people in there.
It's at the 33 of Pittsburgh. Malone rushing. As you saw the flags fly after the premature movement.
I think they had a blitz on that time.
Encroachment. 10-6. Defense. 5 yards. Go first down.
Pearson was indeed coming, but came a little too quickly. Made contact with Mike Webster, who, being the rock he is, just stood solid in there, took the hit, and got the 5 yards.
Would have been interesting had he been going all the way. Penalties have really hurt the Steelers. That's what stopped their drives and turnovers. But the penalties you cannot afford to have during any kind of lengthy drive.
1st and 5 now for the Steelers. Look-in pass complete to Sweeney. Down at midfield, and a Pittsburgh first down. Aaron Pearson made sure he didn't get up and run a little further. But Pittsburgh taking the ball on its own 23, now up to midfield with a first down.
Again, Malone's going to go with that quick pass, the little look-in pass to get his confidence up. And still, he's throwing the ball a little bit low today. His receptions, the receptions they've made are low or really over the head of the receiver. They can't get to him.
Jackson into Kansas City territory to about the 47-yard line. Give him a gain of 3. Make it 2nd and 7 coming up for the Steelers. Tackle on the play by Art Still with help from Dino Hackett.
2nd and 7.
We haven't heard very much of Dino Hackett. There you see Art Still, but we haven't heard very much of Dino Hackett. He played last week and injured his neck against Chicago. He's got that big bundle on the back of his neck to protect it from going back too far.
Jackson fights his way to the 41-yard line. He's going to be about a yard short of the first down. Dino Hackett on the stop for the 2nd consecutive play. And there you see that, I don't know what you call it. You called it a bundle. I don't know what you call it, but it's protecting the injured neck of Dino Hackett, the 2nd-year man out of Appalachian State, who finished in the top 3 in all the polls for the NFL Defensive Rookie of the Year a year ago. And Ernest Jackson has his 4th 100-yard rushing game this year and the 12th of his career with that last carry. You'll get another chance. Walker's in front, turns the corner, and rambles inside the 30-yard line of Kansas City. Deron Cherry able to force him out of bounds. But with Wolfley leading the play, it was Jackson rambling for 12.
Very successful play for them today. You see Craig Wolfley out in front along with Abercrombie, and Ernest Jackson just runs over Cherry here. Gets knocked out of bounds, but he picks up good yardage.
Cherry did a good job of shedding Abercrombie to make the stop.
He made the only play he could make, and that was just to stay alive and hope somebody could come and help him. Fortunately enough for him, he made the play by himself.
First down, Steelers, 28 of the Chiefs. Abercrombie stopped for a short gain. Aaron Pearson was ready for that one.
Well, they tried to run basically the same play on the other side with Jackson leading the way for Abercrombie, and unfortunately he could not return the favor with a good block. Lloyd Burris just shed him aside and picked up the tackle.
See the numbers on Abercrombie as the Steelers are threatening to put 2 runners over 100 yards today. Jackson has already achieved that. 2nd and 8. Malone for the end zone. Incomplete. John Stallworth couldn't make the catch. Had a couple of Chiefs around him, and J.C. Pearson might have got a hand in there to knock it away. Art Still, meanwhile, was putting the pressure on Malone.
He had pretty good blocking that time. Up front, the pressure was there. You'll see in the middle of your screen, Art Still, number 67, coming around. He just beats his man, and number 62 jumps back to push him out of the way. He did have plenty of time to throw the ball. It was just underthrown again, and a nice defensive play. Stallworth probably could have made the catch, but it would have been a miracle catch at best.
J.C. Pearson, a good play to knock that one loose. Nickel defense in for Kansas City. It's 3rd and 8 for the Steelers. Wide open. Carter. Touchdown. Rodney Carter, the first-year player out of Purdue, with his second touchdown reception of the day. This one covers 26 yards. He was wide open across the middle and then rambled into the end zone.
Here you see the veteran Mike Webster pointing out that there's a blitzer. There's some trouble coming up the middle, and he's going to pick it up and take it up on himself to make sure that he has plenty of time. Malone does to make the throw.
Anderson with the extra point. It's good. And the Pittsburgh Steelers begin a drive on their own 23 on the first possession of the second half. March downfield to take the lead. It's 14-10 Pittsburgh. Tom Hammond and Michael Jackson, Arrowhead Stadium, where the Steelers had just taken their first lead, 14-10. Anderson's kickoff taken by Palmer. Almost broke the tackle. He gets it down to the 29-yard line. Mike Merriweather made the stop, and Merriweather was about the only man that would kept Palmer from a long gaining kickoff return that covered 23 yards.
In the middle of your screen, you see 85. That's Calvin Sweeney. He and Rodney Carter ran a crossing route and got the defensive backfield confused, allowing Carter to end up wide open and scoring the touchdown. But it was the motion man, Calvin Sweeney, who set that play up.
11 plays to cover the 77 yards, just over 5 minutes, with Malone hitting Carter with a 26-yard pass. And it's 14-10 Steelers. Kenney bootlegs, passes complete to Hayes. Jonathan Hayes taken out of bounds at about the 35-yard line by Woodruff.
Kansas City not wanting to go too fast, but to get something going here. A little safe route there to Jonathan Hayes from Bill Kenney for 5 yards.
You had a look at Henry Marshall bringing in the play to Bill Kenney. Marshall, the 12-year veteran out of Missouri, honored before today's game as the Chiefs' all-time leading receiver. 2 weeks ago, he passed another number 89, Otis Taylor, to be the Chiefs' all-time top receiver. That's Henry Marshall. Herman Hurd gets his first carry of the day and doesn't get a whole lot out of it. David Little, one of the inside linebackers, right there to stop him after a short gain.
Herman Hurd hasn't seen very much action this year, but I remember playing against him, and he used to run some fantastic pass routes. He's only got 76 yards rushing this year, but his pass routes used to just scare me to death coming out of the backfield.
And Hurd does come out of the backfield to the sideline, replaced by Larry Moriarty. 3rd and 2 for the Kansas City Chiefs. Under 9 minutes left in the third quarter. Steelers leading for the first time, 14-10. Pitch it to Okoye. He's got the first down. Okoye found a hole and spurted through to the 45-yard line. Greg Carr made the stop.
Boy, Greg Carr saved himself and the rest of that Pittsburgh Steelers defense a lot of running, because Okoye was very close to breaking that. He comes in, gets a block from Moriarty, and just his sheer power and strength and speed gets him the first down, but he was very close to breaking that one. They made a nice play and saving a touchdown there.
There's Okoye, who weighs 253 pounds and runs a 4.440. Kenney passing complete to Moriarty. He got back to the line of scrimmage, and that was all. Dwayne Woodruff, the quarterback, was all over Moriarty, who caught the pass out of the backfield. There's that cast on the injured wrist of Bill Kenney.
I don't think Okoye has quite picked up the pass blocking that time. He got pushed back into Kenney, and that's what hurt his hand. You see Willis pushing him over and finally getting on top of Kenney. You can't have that happen to your quarterback, especially when he's got a bad hand to start with.
All rookie backfield now as Palmer joins Okoye. Draw play to Palmer with a flag down. Palmer gets about 4 yards. Donnie Shell makes the tackle, the 35-year-old strong safety of the Steelers. As you see, the ticker will call it an offside against Pittsburgh. Buffalo in that game against Denver, by the way, is
number 9, 30.
Keith Willis was guilty of the offside. I was about to say in that Buffalo-Denver game, the Bills have blocked 2 punts for safeties out of the end zone.
Lots of surprises today. Green Bay still on top of Chicago, which is or could not be described as a surprise because so were the Kansas City Chiefs by 2 touchdowns last week.
McMahon rallied them a week ago. We'll see if he can do the same. Here, the Chiefs in good shape with a give to Palmer. Cuts back. Nice running by Paul Palmer. He's got the first down for Kansas City. Thomas Everett made the stop. Let's pause briefly now for station identification. This is the NBC Television Network.
You're watching Channel 11, WPXI-TV, Pittsburgh.
Tom Hammond and Michael Jackson, Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City. We're in the 3rd quarter, 6:40 to play, with the Steelers holding a 14-10 lead on the Kansas City Chiefs. But the Chiefs marching with a first down at the Steeler 41. Okoye carries people with him to the 35-yard line. Hanging on for dear life was David Little, who is outweighed by Okoye. Little, the linebacker, goes at 242. Okoye, the running back, at 253.
And when they meet, that's almost 500 pounds going there.
83 yards against that Bear defense, best in the NFL. Today he has 43 yards, averaging 4.3 a carry.
Well, he's been slowed. He's got that strained shoulder in the 1st quarter, but he's picking up speed now in the 2nd half.
He got 6 on that last carry. It's 2nd and 4. Kenney's pass complete. Carson has the first down, out of bounds at the 26-yard line. Dwayne Woodruff, all he could do was take Carson out of bounds as the Chiefs rack up another first down. Carlos Carson.
It's very easy to throw that ball outside there. It's a dangerous pass, even though they made it look real close. Minnesota, you see, leading the Raiders 14-3 as opposed to trailing.
There you see a correction on one of our scores on the 10-minute ticker. Herman Hurd got a yard, maybe 2. Mike Merriweather.
Oh yeah, somebody's going to be
goes
flagged
down
on that. You cannot take off another player's helmet, and Merriweather took off Baldinger's helmet, or was it Cole? Some extracurricular activity going on out there.
Little and Baldinger going at it.
Boy, you see in the middle of your screen getting a block. Here you see off to the side, David Little taking down and then ripping off the helmet of Rich Baldinger. You can't do that. That's a dangerous play there. And they're going to be assessed, I think, 15 yards on this penalty.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 50 after the play was over, half the distance of the goal line, first down.
Jim Tunney on the call, and a costly penalty for the Steeler defense.
Well, penalties have stopped a couple of Steeler drives, and now a penalty aids a Kansas City drive.
Chiefs have a first down at the 13 of Pittsburgh. Okoye cuts up. Got a yard. David Little, fired up with a penalty, comes right back to make another tackle.
Well, sometimes penalties do fire you up. That time the Pittsburgh Steelers had 9 guys in on that play.
It'll be 2nd and 9 coming up, and there's a man that could play some defense. Mean Joe Green, now in his first year as an assistant coach with the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Joe Green taking over the defensive line, something he should know quite a bit about.
One of the greatest defensive linemen in the history of the NFL. Kenney looking to pass. Loose ball picked off. Dwayne Woodruff picks off the deflected pass. Now back to Shell. And Pittsburgh has the big turnover.
You know, for an old man, Donnie Shell didn't move too bad just then. He's excited about it, too. Bill Kenney.
Off the hand of Carlos Carson. And the Steelers with their 3rd interception of the day.
He has plenty of time. He just throws into a bunch of men in the middle of the field. You see he had one receiver and 4 defensive players there. It doesn't look good when you have all that in the middle.
Bill Kenney on the sideline talking to his fellow quarterbacks and his head coach. Todd Blackledge with a hat on. Frank Sire is over there, and Frank Gans, the head coach, as Kenney has just thrown an interception. Trying to listen to Jim Tunney, the official. Evidently on replay, they have ruled that the lateral from Woodruff to Shell was no good, and they're going to spot the ball at about the 3-yard line. Remember, Woodruff picked off the deflected pass and then lateraled it, but they're not going to allow that, and they're going to mark it back on the 3 where the Steelers have it 1st and 10. Jackson got a yard. He's stopped by that 4-3 Kansas City defense. Art Still back at the bottom of the stack, and Albert Lewis came up to help. Let's go back to that interception now as Kenney throws it off the hands of Carson.
He throws it, and Carson, you can barely see him come into your screen. It seems like he saw men coming at him and heard footsteps. The contact, that's where they call the ball down, and it was the right call to make. He was down. Woodruff's knees were down. So the lateral was nullified because of that. This position on where they're at on the field now is where you like to get an offense, no matter how you get them there.
2nd and 9 for the Steelers at their own 4. Abercrombie takes it to the outside and lugs it to the 9-yard line where Dino Hackett pins him. In 5 yards on the play, it'll be 3rd and 4.
3rd and 4. Walter Abercrombie has 10 rushes for 75 yards. But 3rd and 4 down here, this is where your defense really gets fired up. I remember when I was playing, we got a team down here, and it didn't matter if we had just turned the ball over or punted the ball down here. This is where you can really cut loose. Unless they get the 1st down, then you're really down as a defensive player. But otherwise, you're fired up and ready to go.
Abercrombie lined up behind Malone. Malone's pass incomplete, intended for Abercrombie at the 15-yard line. Abercrombie had some room, but the pass was not on the mark. Again, Pittsburgh will have to punt.
Again, Mark Malone throws the ball low. He bounces it to his receivers, and you hate to keep harping on this same subject, but that's what they talked about in the Pittsburgh press this week. Malone has plenty of time. The man is wide open. Abercrombie has Dino Hackett on him, but he's wide open. You can't catch that ball in the ground like that.
So Harry Newsom now must punt from his own end zone after Malone's pass falls incomplete. Newsom averaging 38.5 on his 2 punts today.
They're going to come after this. Don't be surprised if they block this. Kansas City is coming.
Hammond is deep for the Chiefs. Here they come. Newsom got it away. There is a flag down. Good punt by Newsom. Out of bounds. Way back at the 24-yard line, but Newsom flat on his back and a flag laying right in front of him.
He may be seriously hurt. This may not be an act here. He did get roughed, and he could be hurt.
It'll be a 5-yard running into the kicker penalty. Newsom got it off for 68 yards.
See, a lot of Kansas City Chiefs are in there. They may have been blocked in there by number 33.
5 yards, 1st down.
That's not how Tunney saw it. He calls running into the punter, and it's a 1st down for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
5-yard penalty and a 1st down, so the Steelers keep possession. Newsom under that pressure got off a marvelous punt. Up on his feet and heading for the sideline. We'll take a break and be right back. Well, I say kickers are a different breed. There's Harry Newsom. He's all right over on the sideline. Watch what happened again.
Well, he gets a lot of pressure, and the people do run into him. He decides that he is down. He's been rough, but I got to see where this ball went. And now I can die.
He had to sneak a little peek. He couldn't resist it then. Oh, no, I'm injured. He got the call, and the Steelers have the ball with a 1st down, leading 14-10, 2:50 left in the 3rd quarter. Malone's pass is incomplete, intended for Stallworth, with good defense that time by J.C. Pearson, who got a hand in there to knock it away from the Steeler veteran.
The veteran John Stallworth comes down, puts on good moves, and forces the man back and comes back to the ball real good. Here you see this. He's coming back, and it's a great defensive play to get the hand in there by number 24, J.C. Pearson. Nice play by him. But he's got his work cut out covering Stallworth.
2nd and 10 for the Steelers at their own 14. Pollard, nothing there. Mike Bell led the defensive charge for the Chiefs. The battle of first place teams, Indianapolis still in front. Green Bay continues to lead Chicago. Buffalo putting it to the Broncos. Looks like it's a rough day for AFC Western Division teams today.
Certainly is. And for St. Louis. This is still the part of the field where you like to have your offensive opponent locked up down here. You can still cut loose on them.
3 wide receivers to the right, only Charles Lockett to the left. Malone's pass incomplete. Abercrombie out of the backfield, drew a crowd over there. Hackett was closest to him, and another punting situation deep in their own territory for the Steelers.
Chuck Noll has got to be wondering what's going wrong with his passing game. That time the ball was simply thrown behind Walter Abercrombie. He may have not had enough yards for the first down, but at least he could have gotten him out of this deep hole. And now you're going to see another rush, I think.
Newsome this time stands on his 2-yard line. And Clemens is deep for the Chiefs. Crowd of 45,249 picking up the noise level as Newsome gets the punt away. Another good one. Clemens at the 30. It's away from one man. He's got room. One man to beat the punter. Finally taken out of bounds. Newsome slowed him up, and the Steelers were able to get over to knock him out of bounds. Dwight Stone finally got him out, but it was Newsome, the punter, that slowed him down. 54-yard punt, 46 yards on the return by Clemens.
It's a good thing that Harry Newsome wasn't hurt on that last punt. Michael Clemens makes some nice moves. He gets good blocking, and then the rest of it is just sheer talent. The hole is opened up wide for him, and he's just going to make some cuts and some nifty moves for a 46-yard return.
And number 18, Newsome, slows him up right there, and Stone, who had missed him initially, gets downfield to make the tackle. Chiefs with a first down. Okoye carries, powers ahead inside the 20-yard line. Brian Hinkle hanging on for dear life.
Well, Christian Okoye and the Kansas City offense has got to be fired up after that 46-yard run back. You had your opponent locked up down here in your territory. You get the ball back and you end up in your same spot. There's nothing greater than that. Actually, there is. He could have run it back for a touchdown, I guess.
Didn't miss by much. At the 19, it's 2nd and 3 for Kansas City. Just over a minute left in the third quarter. Steelers leading 14-10.
Changes the play. He's going for 6.
On the out pattern, complete to Carson, who takes it for a Kansas City first down. Dwayne Woodruff gave him a little bump after he got him out of bounds, but no call. And the ball is spotted at the Pittsburgh 11-yard line.
That's not a very big deal type of play, but it is in a sense. You run the short little out, you get the receiver, you get the defender off of you, and you can set him up for something down the line. You see that bump out of bounds. The crowd didn't like it, but no penalty flag was thrown.
Carlos Carson having his 3rd big game in a row. Hayes and Kaufman, 2 tight ends on first down at the 11. Okoye made a short gain out of really nothing at all. He was met at the line of scrimmage, and then the whole pile seemed to move forward with Okoye's legs turning. Keith Gary and Mike Merriweather will get credit for the tackle.
Well, as you said, Tom, they have 2 tight ends in the game, and what they're going to do is come up and audible the play. They're going to go away from where Donnie Shell, number 31, is lined up for the Pittsburgh Steelers, going to the weak safety and weak side of that offensive set. Now they've taken the second tight end out.
And they've got the two rookie running backs in, Palmer and Okoye. Kenney communicating something to Carson. Let's see if he goes to it. Nope. They keep it on the ground to Okoye. Takes the pitch and rambles short of the 5-yard line. And that play brings the third quarter to an end. At the end of the third quarter, the score, the Pittsburgh Steelers 14, the Kansas City Chiefs 10. We'll be back after a word from your local station. Kansas City has the ball in the Pittsburgh 6. Here's one of the reasons why.
Something interesting to watch about that, the first man down was number 20, and watch who makes the tackle on this play. Number 20 for Pittsburgh.
Newsom slowed him up. Clemens, though, gave the Chiefs great field position. They're 3rd and 5. Kenney, sack. The Steelers, not known for their sacks. It's been one of their real weak spots, but they get a big one right there.
Kenney may have hurt that wrist again.
And he's slow to get up.
Number 98, Gerald Williams, gets in for the sack, and Kenney is slow to get up and gingerly gets off. Watch the middle of your screen. Number 98 just beats his man and comes in and makes the tackle. Then everybody piles on top of Kenney, and that may have caused him to at least bruise that wrist again.
So Lowry's on to attempt a 27-yard field goal. Frank Sire is the holder. Kenney normally holds, but with that injured wrist, Sire is the quarterback that holds today. You see the sacks for the Steelers. 27-yard attempt by Lowry. And it's good. So the Kansas City Chiefs get 3 after the great punt return by Clemens. It's 14-13. 14-13, the Steelers lead cut to 1. Bill Kenney sacked and perhaps re-injuring that wrist. He was even limping a little bit as he came off. He's hit on 10 of 19 today and has thrown 3 interceptions. Perhaps we could see a change. Todd Blackledge, the man that started the first 2 games, or Frank Sire. Lowry's been taken by Woodson. Woodson tried to change direction and lost his footing, stumbled to the turf at about the 22-yard line, where he's covered by Todd Howard.
I think he had too many holes open. Then he had on the right side, he had 2 holes wide open, and he cut to the left and had nothing in front of him.
3-quarter stats. The Steelers dominating and leading by 1. Neither quarterback has had a particularly good day, but as yet no changes in practice this past week. Bubby Brister got equal time in practice with Mark Malone, but Malone's gone all the way and has hit 10 of 21, including 2 touchdowns to Rodney Carter. Abercrombie stopped short of the 25, got about 3 yards before Mike Bell and Art Still put the clamps on him. The Chiefs with that 4-man defensive line featuring all first-round draft choices. There's Todd Blackledge, who, if he got in the game against the Steelers today, would be facing his dad, who is an assistant coach with Pittsburgh. Ron Blackledge coaches the offensive line for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Pitch it to Jackson. Nothing there. Stopped for a loss. Mike Bell led the charge.
Boy, Abercrombie missed everybody on that play, believe it or not. He was coming out leading that play around and looking up, seeing Mike Bell. I can understand why he ducked underneath him and let Jackson come on his own. Here you see Mike Bell. Abercrombie's just going to miss him. So he's out there with the greeting party.
Third down coming up, 3rd and long for the Steelers, 3rd and 9. They've hit on 8 of 13 third downs today. Nickel defense for Kansas City. Malone's pass intended for Stallworth. It'll be interference as a flag checked the arm on that official. He threw the flag farther than Malone threw the football.
That's exactly right. He threw that from the 50 and it ended up on the 24-yard line.
J.C. Pearson will be called for the interference.
There again, it's just simply a matter of a young man going up against a veteran like John Stallworth. You won't see it here. He's got his arm already around. The damage has been done.
Defense, number 24. 5 yards, first down.
The damage was done by the time we came to the screen with that shot, but he did indeed hold John Stallworth.
Director Bob Levy and producer Ken Edmondson getting the pictures from Arrowhead today, where Kenney is keeping warm on the sideline. Malone on the rollout. Got room to run. Out of bounds at the 34, short of the first down. Jack Del Rio made sure he went out of bounds.
Well, that was a wise decision by Malone to run that ball. He didn't have anybody who was open enough to get the ball to, so he just took his chances and picked up 5 yards on it.
So second down coming up for Chuck Noll's squad. 19th season heading the Steeler troops. 2nd and 4. Incomplete. Intended for Calvin Sweeney, who was streaking down the sideline. Albert Lewis was right there with him, but a catch that Sweeney might have made.
And he might have made it. He got past Albert Lewis on the jam there. It was a man-to-man coverage. You'll see at the top of your screen, Albert Lewis lets him get outside of him, then starts to outrun him. He makes a great recovery, though, does Albert Lewis, to knock that ball away. Otherwise, it could have been 6.
That was a pretty well-thrown pass by Malone, leading Sweeney just enough where the defense couldn't get it, but Sweeney unable to hang on. Third and 4. Malone throws it right to the Chiefs. Mark Robinson will finally be dragged down by Mark Malone, but Malone threw it right to Robinson, who returned it 16 yards, and Kansas City in good shape.
Tell you, Mark Robinson sat there and he was reading Malone all the way on that. He stepped in front of the intended receiver, who was being covered man-to-man by J.C. Pearson, and it looked like Malone threw it right to him. It actually looks like he was the intended receiver. Malone has plenty of time here, gets good blocking up front. Number 30 is in the middle of your screen. He's sitting there. The ball is intended for him, and he makes the catch and comes back with it.
Speaking of quarterbacks, Bill Kenney has come back out for the Chiefs, who have a first down at the Steeler 24-yard line. Herman Hurd tries to get outside. Spun down by Everett. Got about 5 yards on the play, though. The Kansas City defense continues to make the big plays. The offense has yet to score. 2 field goals, and the defense has recovered a fumble.
2 first-place teams there, Indianapolis and San Diego, knotted at 13. Denver still behind.
The big question, are the Chargers and are the Colts for real? They're evenly matched, that's for sure. They're 13-13. 2nd and 6 for the Chiefs. Okoye on the draw. Dives inside the 15. It's going to be a yard or 2 short of the first down, I believe, depending on where they spot it.
The big fella's getting fired up now. He got a lot of blocking out in front of him with Adix and Lutz and Kaufman coming around leading the play.
And Kaufman shaking up.
Coming off.
Kaufman, the veteran tight end, 10 years in the league out of Kansas State. Already they've seen Walt Arnold injured in the first half and unable to play, so they're down to Jonathan Hayes, one tight end, if Kaufman can't go.
Kansas City is a little bit confused right now. They had Irv Eatman come in to the game, and now they send him out and come back with the wide receiver corps.
And a timeout taken by the Steelers. Tom Hammond and Michael Jackson, along with producer Ken Edmondson, director Bob Levy at Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City. 11:45 left in the 4th quarter. Pittsburgh leading Kansas City 14-13, but the Chiefs with the ball at the Pittsburgh 14-yard line with a 3rd and 1. Okoye spins his way ahead for the first down. Christian Okoye was hit at about the first down marker, but was able to spin free and get first down yardage. Gary Dunn finally tackling Okoye. But we got a holding call coming up against Kansas City. I didn't even see the flag, but it's going to nullify the first down run.
Well, I didn't see the flag either, but you can bet Frank Gans did. That's one thing that has really hurt the Chiefs today, and the Pittsburgh Steelers for that matter, are penalties down close to the goal line.
The Chiefs seem to make the crucial mistake, a penalty or a turnover, and Pittsburgh really in the same boat. And this game of Kansas City is a little reminiscent of their effort against San Diego 2 weeks ago.
Holding during the running play, number 85, offense, 10 yards, still third down.
Jonathan Hayes, the tight end, guilty of the hold. I was about to say the penalties really hurt them against the Chargers 2 weeks ago.
Well, anytime you get a penalty anywhere on the field, it'll hurt you, but especially when you're going in for a leading touchdown or the winning touchdown.
So it's 3rd and 11 now for Kansas City from the 24-yard line. 4 wide receivers, Carson in motion. Instead, Okoye gets the handoff, bounces to the 20-yard line. He got 4 yards. Merriweather makes the tackle for the Pittsburgh Steelers, and so the crowd of 45,000 not liking the call as Lowry comes on to attempt the field goal.
Well, they don't like the call, but you have to remember that the score is only 14-13. A field goal will give them a lead.
Frank Gans not wanting to risk putting it in the air, and so running the ball and settling for the field goal attempt. Lowry 2 for 2 in the field goal department today. This one from 38 yards. Right through the uprights. Nick Lowry hits his 3rd field goal of the afternoon. And the Kansas City Chiefs regain the lead, 16-14. The Kansas City Chiefs with a 16-14 lead over the Pittsburgh Steelers and 10:36 left in the game. Nick Lowry, who just kicked the field goal, will kick it to Woodson and Stone, who are deep for Pittsburgh. Stone about 7 yards deep. He'll stay there. Actually, I believe that was Sanchez who had replaced Woodson in the kick return coverage, and he downs it in the end zone. In any event, the Chiefs, special teams and defense have done all the scoring in the last 2 games against the Steelers.
Chiefs offense seems to get a day off against the Steeler team.
Pittsburgh puts it in play from the 20. Malone passes it complete to Lee. Denzel Lee, one of the tight ends, wrapped up by Dino Hackett, but he got about 8 yards. Pittsburgh passing on first down that time instead of the run, which we've seen most of the game.
That's exactly right. They've got to get down and get something going. The Chiefs made the switch at outside linebacker that time. It didn't pay off for him. Aaron Pearson missed the tackle. Dino Hackett came in and made the tackle on Denzel Lee, who was a replacement player during the strike.
Give Lee 9 yards on the reception, make it 2nd and 1. Abercrombie hit and dropped behind the line by Pearson. Aaron Pearson, the 11th round draft choice a year ago, making the stop for a loss.
He steps up and makes a nice play here, making up for that missed tackle. Just an off-tackle play. He cuts through everybody and makes the diving play there for a loss of a yard or so.
Abercrombie now with 75 yards. Lost yardage on that one. And Jackson already over 100 on the day. 4 wide receivers in for the Steelers on 3rd and 3. Abercrombie is the only setback. He gets it on the draw. Abercrombie, tough running across the 30 for the Steeler first down. Pete Koch made the tackle on Abercrombie, but strong running by the veteran out of Baylor enabled the Steelers to pick up the first down and keep the clock moving.
Well, Kansas City was expecting pass on that play with only 1 running back in there, 4 wide receivers. They put on a nice little push in the middle, and Malone makes the handoff to Abercrombie. He picks up the first down through tough, hard running.
Chuck Noll saying, hurry it up. The play clock down to 10 seconds. Malone's pass, a floater. Stallworth interfered with by Pearson again.
Pearson doesn't agree with that, but that was the right call. Pearson has two problems on that play. Number one, he's
interference defense, number 24, first down.
He's got two problems. Number one, he's playing against a veteran, John Stallworth, who runs a nice route. He comes downfield, puts a little move on, then comes back to the ball. And number two, the ball was floated out there again. If it had had the zip put on it, then he'd have made the play without coming over Stallworth's back. It's a close play, but that ball was floated and gave him the opportunity to come over Stallworth's back.
First down for the Steelers at their own 46-yard line. They trail by 2. Malone's pass deflected and incomplete. Check the scores now. Most of the games in the fourth quarter. Still tied at the Hoosier Dome, and the Packers still leading the Bears. They're in the third quarter. Buffalo holding the big lead over Denver. And the Raiders, another AFC West team, losing. Cleveland having an easy afternoon with Atlanta. Here at 16-14 with 8 minutes, 21 seconds left. Abercrombie. Big hole. Powers ahead to the 42-yard line where Lloyd Burris is able to take it down. But Abercrombie, with a strong run through a big hole, picks up another Steeler first down.
That looked almost like a cross buck there, the old cross buck play. Malone fakes the handoff inside to Pollard and hands off to Abercrombie going outside. And he picks up nice yardage around that end. Nobody hits him for the first 10 yards. He's almost gone over 100 yards himself now.
Pollard and Abercrombie in the backfield here. Not the backyard, but the backfield. Malone's pass batted down again. Pete Koch, 6'6", up in the face of Malone to knock it away. The second consecutive pass that's been deflected.
Second and 10.
Well, there again, you've got to get those defensive players hands down. Koch, you see, just jumps up and puts a big paw on it and knocks it back about 10 yards.
Up front, the Chiefs have Bell at 6'4", 260. Koch, 6'6", 265. Moss, 6'5", 268. And Still, 6'7", 255. That's a pretty tough line to throw over.
Be a nice back line in basketball.
8th play of the drive, 2nd and 10. Malone on the bootleg. Hit at the 35-yard line and out of bounds to stop the clock. Albert Lewis cut the legs out from under Malone, stopping the clock with 7.5 minutes left. Don't forget the second half of our doubleheader coming up next. Most of you folks will be seeing the great Dan Marino and the Miami Dolphins go head-to-head with another young quarterback that's got the passing game going, Boomer Esiason of the Bengals. Some of you will see Houston at San Francisco. That's coming up next here on NBC. Third and 4 for the Steelers, who have 4 wide receivers in the game. One of them, Carter, in the slot left, has caught 2 touchdown passes. Abercrombie has the first down just short of the 30-yard line. Dino Hackett, Chiefs leading tackler, gets credit for another.
Carter comes into the game, and he's, like you said before, got the 2 touchdowns for the Pittsburgh Steelers, but he makes a nice block on this play to allow Walter Abercrombie to pick up the necessary yardage for the first down. I think the Chiefs were looking for pass, especially with 4 wide receivers in the game again.
Not having much luck there in rallying the crowd as the Steelers are driving for what they hope will be a go-ahead score. Abercrombie now up to 97 yards on the day. Steelers with a big lead in first downs. Abercrombie again as a flag flies. Del Rio made the tackle for Kansas City, but it could be a holding call against Pittsburgh. It is.
Those officials sure have some strong arms today.
Noel was having things go his way.
Holding, 73 offense, 10 yards, still first down.
73 offense. Craig Wolfley, I just don't see where they're calling holding. He's got his hands in the regulated zones where they say you can put them, and they're calling him for holding. That's the 9th penalty on the Steelers today.
Chuck Noll was marching down the field and eating up some time. Had things going his way, but now faces a 1st and 20. Carter and Pollard in the backfield. Malone retreats to pass and completes it to Lee. Out of bounds after a short gain at about the 35-yard line. Deron Cherry bumping him out of bounds.
Coaching staff of Kansas City very concerned about how to get this drive stopped.
That pass good for 5 yards as the defensive signals go in. And Chuck Noll on the other side hoping to keep the drive alive. Now facing a 2nd and 15. Almost intercepted. Carter had a hand on it, bobbled it. Pearson had it go through his hands, and it falls incomplete.
Kansas City's playing a zone defense. They've got about 5 men underneath with the 3 deep. Well, I'm sorry, they've got 4 underneath, 5 underneath, 2 deep. J.C. Pearson makes a nice move on this ball. Carter bobbles it, and he comes up and almost picks it off and takes it back the other way. But they've got a lot of men playing underneath and giving them an opportunity to break on the ball when Malone throws it.
Malone under 50% as he is on the season today. 3rd and 15 for him here. Pass complete to Stallworth, still on his feet, fighting for the first down and stopped short.
There's a lot of people getting over on the ball on Stallworth, who was covered by Cherry on that side. Nice move by Stallworth to almost pick up the first down. There you see Cherry going over to get to Stallworth. Watch the move that Stallworth puts on him. 1 there, and he's just going to fight his way through about 4 more people before he finally gets taken out of bounds. But there's knowing where the first down yardage is.
So Anderson is on to try a field goal for Pittsburgh. 42-yard attempt. And it's no good. Anderson misses, and Kansas City hangs on to the lead, 16-14. Less than 6 minutes to play, and Kansas City clinging to a 2-point lead, 16-14 here at Arrowhead Stadium. And once again, we've seen these two teams self-destruct. That time, Pittsburgh had a good drive going, but a penalty takes them out of good field position, and the field goal is missed.
Well, you can't afford to miss field goals, but even more importantly, you cannot afford to make mistakes at critical points in the game right now. And that's where we are. The team that makes the fewest mistakes in the next 5 minutes should come out ahead.
On first down, Christian Okoye takes the handoff, loses the ball.
Another critical mistake.
The Steelers have it. Indeed, another mistake which could decide the game. Gerald Williams falls on the football, number 98. Christian Okoye hit hard, coughed it up, and the Steelers have it.
Well, that's only his 3rd fumble of the year, but they come at critical times. Last week, it cost them the game at Chicago. Right now, it's a possibility that it could cost them this game. Christian Okoye is coming outside. He slows down. Donnie Shell gets in, then puts the hit on him, and then the 27 comes in, puts another hit, and he coughs the ball up. You cannot afford to do that.
That was Everett that had the big hit to knock the ball loose. 3rd fumble and 79 carries for Okoye. And Ernest Jackson back in the game for the Steelers gets the call. Flag down as Del Rio makes the tackle.
And you can almost bet that Craig Wolf is going to get called with holding.
Well, it's just a matter of which one is going to self-destruct first. Kansas City fumbles the ball. Pittsburgh with great field position, and then a holding.
Holding, 73, offense.
And as you said, Craig Wolfley again. There's Wolfley, number 73. Chuck Noll livid on the sideline, ripped his headset off. Each team has had many opportunities squandered today.
There you see Craig Wolfley on the right-hand side of your screen. I do not see where they're, well, maybe that time I do see. He did have his hand up around the left hand, the left shoulder of the defensive player. But that's the only holding that I've seen on Wolfley today.
1st and 20 from the 37 for the Steelers. Jackson hit at the line of scrimmage and stopped for no gain by Bill Moss. Still tied up at the Hoosier Dome, and McMahon rallying the Bears, who only trail by 1 now, shades of a week ago.
Raiders are taking it in the shorts again.
Look at St. Louis. They've come back on the Buccaneers. They're within 4. Here at 16-14, Kansas City leading, 4 minutes, 50 seconds left, with the Steelers with the ball at the 36. 2nd down, 19 for Pittsburgh. Malone's pass incomplete and almost intercepted. Sweeney couldn't hold it. It went through the hands of Albert Lewis on the rebound. He couldn't hold it either.
That was a ball thrown low to Sweeney, but he should have caught it. He had it both hands on it. You'll see that Albert Lewis was just taken by surprise, and when the ball bounced off Sweeney right here into his hands and then down to the ground. Albert Lewis, 29, made a stab at it, but he just couldn't come up with it.
Malone on the day, still less than 50%, 13 and 30, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Merrill Hodge into the game for Pittsburgh on 3rd and 19. Pass is complete, but about 10 yards short of the 1st down territory needed. Catch made by Carter. Burris gets the tackle, and it'll bring another field goal situation up as Anderson comes back onto the field. The 2nd all-time field goal accuracy kicker in NFL history, 77.3%, trailing only Morton Anderson of New Orleans. But he missed his last one. This one from 45 yards for the lead. And this one is good. Officially 44 yards as Gary Anderson hits the clutch field goal, and the Steelers have taken a 1-point lead, 17-16, with 4 minutes, 2 seconds left. Well, you had to think it might come down to the field goal kickers, the 2 and 3 ranked kickers of all time, and Anderson hits this one perfectly.
Well, I was a bit surprised that he missed that first field goal, being the 2nd leading accuracy kicker in the league, but he did make it. And Chuck Noll, you can see that he's very excited, thrilled about it himself in his own way.
He almost willed it through there as he had his fist clenched and was ready to get after it. And his team has bounced back to take a 17-16 lead. And of course, Pittsburgh needs to keep winning. They're just a game out of 1st place in the AFC Central, and they play the leader, Houston, next week.
That's exactly right. And talking with Frank Gantz yesterday from Kansas City, he was saying that his guys are playing as well as they can play, and they will not lose anything by losing last week. They just want to keep improving on what they did. But mistakes, again, have hurt them. Fumbles by Christian Okoye in both instances have hurt the Kansas City Chiefs.
Anderson's kick fielded by Palmer about 8 yards deep in the end zone, and he'll down it there. It'll be 1st down, Chiefs at the 20. National Football League rules require that we present away games starting with the opening kickoff to stations in that team's home area. So viewers in Houston will be leaving this game in just a few minutes for a telecast involving your home team, the Oilers, against the 49ers. However, we'll continue to bring you reports on this game to keep you up to date. Second half of that doubleheader, some of you will see the Oilers at San Francisco. Others will see that expected shootout at Riverfront Stadium between the Dolphins and the Bengals. Kenney with a long count. His pass was deflected at the line of scrimmage, intended for Paul Kaufman, but Keith Willis got a hand on it.
Well, the crowd is starting to get on Bill Kenney, just like they do any quarterback when their team's behind late in the game. But that pass was simply batted down, and it was not a very well thrown ball.
Once again, those of you in Houston will be leaving us to watch the Houston-San Francisco game. We'll keep you informed on the game throughout the rest of the afternoon through NFL Live. Bill Kenney calling his signals on 2nd and 10. Okoye, the only setback. Kenney scrambling, completes it. Hayes with the reception has a Kansas City first down. Kenney improvising, finding Hayes coming across the middle and hitting him for the first down. 16 yards on the play. David Little knocked Hayes out of bounds.
That time it looked like simply a matter of whether Kenney was going to run the ball for the first down or throw downfield, and he chose to throw down to Jonathan Hayes to pick up the first down. He had good coverage downfield, but Jonathan Hayes was running away from David Little and finally found an opening that Kenney could get the ball in.
Trailing by 1, Kansas City has it on its own 37. 3 minutes, 45 seconds left. A first down, Chiefs. Okoye runs it to the 39-yard line where Gerald Williams stops him. Got about 4 yards as the clock reaches 3.5 minutes left. Chiefs with all 3 timeouts remaining. Excuse me, Michael.
Kansas City's in no hurry to get downfield. All they want to do is keep picking up first downs. They've got 3 minutes left in the game. They've got 2 timeouts left. They can get out and get in field goal range again.
Frank Gans, who is fond of quoting Aristotle and other philosophers to his players, in a crucial situation here, looking for win number 2 of the season. Kenney's pass behind Okoye. It'll be ruled a forward pass and incomplete. The boos really ring out now as Donnie Shell was putting the pressure on Bill Kenney. Nick Lowry could come into play. He's the field goal kicker of the Chiefs, and a good one. Let's pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC Television Network.
You're watching Channel 11, WPXI TV, Pittsburgh.
Tom Hammond and Michael Jackson, Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City. 3 minutes, 2 seconds left. And the Steelers leading the Kansas City Chiefs 17-16. Kansas City with the ball on its own 40, 3rd and 7. Page, Marshall, and Carson. 3 wide receivers in. In the shotgun is Bill Kenney. Kenny's protection breaks down, but he gets it away and completes it. Flag down. Page makes the reception. It's a little short of the first down, but a penalty flag on the field.
Stephon Page saying that he was held up.
Delton Hall defending against Page, and it appears it'll go against Pittsburgh.
We have defensive holding. The pass was complete. We will measure for a first down.
The protection around Kenney had just caved in, and he made an outstanding play just to get the ball off. And then Stephon Page comes up with the big catch, and he was held during the play. Bill Kenney in the pocket out of the shotgun, and they're running games on the inside and outside, and everybody's coming in. It's just like a war inside there. He just simply stands tall, throws the ball downfield. Stephon Page comes up with a nice catch.
See all the wires on the sideline. They couldn't get the chain out to measure. They had so many wires over there. Now they're bringing out the chains to see if Page picked up enough yardage for the first down. Page, the number 2 receiver on this team, but I think that's his first reception of the day. It is. San Diego with a field goal by Abbott, taking the lead over the Colts at the Hoosier Dome. Eric Dickerson has gained over 120 yards in that game. Bo Jackson for the Raiders has gained over 70, but has fumbled. We've got a first down for Kansas City, and look at the Cardinals. They appear to be down and out, and they've come storming back to take the lead over the Buccaneers. A lot of wild games around the league today, including this one. It's been a comedy of errors at times. But right now the Steelers holding on to a 1-point lead, 17-16. But Kansas City with a first down. The ball at the 39-yard line of the Chiefs. Clock starts. It shows 2:50. Okoye, nothing. Stacked up at the line of scrimmage and thrown back. David Little, Robin Cole, the inside linebackers, with help from Gerald Williams, throw Okoye back, and the fans are booing the running play.
That three-man front of Pittsburgh is rising to the challenge right now. Christian Okoye has had his way with a lot of teams, but not right now.
Michael, why wouldn't they put the ball in the air?
Well, they still have 2 minutes and 20 seconds left. All they need is a field goal. It's not necessary for them to score a touchdown to win. They want to be conservative and get down there. They got Nick Lowry. He can kick a field goal.
Final play before the 2-minute warning. Kenney in the shotgun does put it in the air and throws it incomplete, way over the head of the intended receiver. I guess it was Stephon Page. No one was really close. It was 10 yards away from any intended receiver.
And again, that may be one of the reasons they don't put it in the air. They don't know where they're going to throw the ball to. There's a miscommunication going on between the receivers and the quarterbacks right now. They're either running the wrong pattern. Stephon Page is going to be wide open after he makes his break, but to no avail. And conversely, Henry Marshall on the other side of the field was wide open, which we could not see on camera.
Neither quarterback is going to put this highlight film in his scrapbook today. It's 3rd and 9 for Kenney and the Chiefs. Kenney sacked. The ball's loose.
He is hurt, too. He is hurt.
Mike Merriweather knocked the ball loose. Kansas City gets the ball back. 2-minute warning coming up. Pittsburgh 17, Kansas City 16. 1:55 left. Here's that last play.
Mike Merriweather comes around the outside. Nobody touches him. He gets a blind shot on Bill Kenney. Fortunately enough, the Kansas City Chiefs get it back. Merriweather again, he puts his shoulder pads and helmet right under the chin of Bill Kenney. And it's very fortunate that that young man got up after that play. It's also very fortunate that number 77, Rich Baldinger, was around that ball to get it back for them.
Kenney and the Chiefs, however, will be facing a 4th down and long situation here. Our thanks to our spotters this afternoon, Don Wilsey and Kevin Mayer, and to Sweet Mom on stats. 17-16 Steelers with 1:55 left. 4th down for Kansas City. 4th down and 17. Kenney hit hard, but still in there. Low snap. Kenney has it. Intercepted. Merriweather. Merriweather with the interception for Pittsburgh, their 4th interception of the day, and that could be enough to win it for the Steelers. Stephon Page, the intended receiver, but Merriweather, good coverage, went up to get it for the Steelers.
That's 2 big plays in a row by Mike Merriweather. You recall he had the sack on the play before the 2-minute warning, and now he comes up with a big interception. Coming into the game, Pittsburgh Steelers were +10 in turnovers versus takeaways, and this adds to their total again today.
And the leading intercepting team in the NFL, now with 19 on the season. Pittsburgh with the ball now at the 47 of the Chiefs. Just 1:43 as you see, and the clock starts. Jackson fighting off tacklers, pounds his way short of the 40-yard line. He's over 100 yards on the day. J.C. Pearson made the tackles. We've got a timeout. Pittsburgh leading by 1. Tom Hammond and Michael Jackson again at Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City. Most of the 45,000 on hand streaming for the exits here with 1:36 left. Pittsburgh with the ball leading by 1. And a 2nd and 4. Jackson stumbles ahead and has first down yardage. Deron Cherry pinned him to the turf, but a Steeler first down.
Well, Jackson has certainly brought the Pittsburgh Steelers running game back to life today.
Another 100-yard effort for the NFL's leading rusher. Now let's go to NFL Live. Here's Bob Costas with an update.
All right, Tom, San Diego is now 7-1. They trailed at Indianapolis 13-0 at halftime, but here, with 12 seconds to play, Vince Abbott's 39-yarder wins it for the Chargers 16-13. A week ago in overtime at San Diego, Abbott's field goal beat the Browns.
All right, San Diego, as I said to Ken Edmondson yesterday, the Chargers are for real. Their only loss was in the opening game of the season here to Kansas City. How's this game been won or lost? Well, for the Kansas City Chiefs, their report card would indicate a poor performance by Bill Kenney, their quarterback, 3 interceptions, and a poor performance by the offensive line, which has allowed 3 sacks to a team that only had 6 coming into today's game. On the positive side, Carson with another good effort, and the special teams, including Lowry, again with a good performance. 1:31 left, 3rd and 1 for the Steelers. I thought they picked up the first down. In fact, the officiating crew signaled that they had, but the spot left them a yard short, and Jackson will not get it there.
Now this is going to be very interesting. Do they go for the field goal or do they go for the first down again?
The Chiefs are going to get another chance.
If they go for the field goal, then that'll put the Steelers up by only 4 points. You almost have to think they've got to go for that first down. They got to keep control of the ball.
You know, it was interesting on the 3rd down play, or on the 2nd down play, it appeared that Jackson had the first down. The officials signaled that he did. And then while we were away, they spotted the ball just a little bit short. And so it's become very crucial now. It's 4th down and less than a yard to go for the Steelers. And the clock stopped with 1:25 left as the Chiefs used their last timeout.
Lowe's over there talking on the sideline with Mark Malone. You would almost think they're going for that first down. They want to keep control of the ball. They don't want to even attempt a punt or a field goal at this point in the game. And you have to rely on your defense if you don't make it. The defense has played quite well for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
There's the Pittsburgh report card. Malone still under 50% completions. He does have 2 touchdowns, but also 2 interceptions. But as a team, they have rushed for 241 yards, a key factor in the game. Carter has 2 touchdown catches, and Anderson hitting the field goal that has put the Steelers in front. 4th and 1. Abercrombie. He stopped short, I believe.
It's going to be awfully close.
This could require a measurement. Abercrombie thinks he has it. Jim Tunney, the referee, has called for the change.
Well, he's going to be close. He ran down that line, that imaginary line down there for the first down, and he was parallel to it for about 5 steps.
Hackett of Kansas City said he didn't make it. Abercrombie was signaling he had the first down. The one that counts will be Jim Tunney, and he's called for the change.
You almost wish you could add another link to that chain. They didn't get it.
Just short. Just short by a couple of inches. And so Kansas City will get a last gasp chance. No timeouts left, but 1:17 on the clock. That's plenty of time to get something. They just need a field goal, trailing by 1.
Dino Hackett may have come up with the biggest play of this game right now with that stop of Abercrombie running down towards the first down marker. An outstanding tackle.
Frank Gans shaking hands with some of his defensive players. There's Hackett, who had the legs driving to keep Abercrombie from getting the last 2 inches that made the difference. Double wide receivers to the right. Bill Kenney's in the shotgun. Across the middle. Knocked down at the last minute. Page was there.
Rod Woodson.
But Rod Woodson, the rookie, made a big play, his first big play of the NFL career for the first-round draft choice out of Purdue.
He's got plenty of speed, Woodson does right now, to make that play. You're kind of wondering why they wouldn't keep that ball on the ground and go with the run. All they need to do is get down into field goal position. The reason they don't run is because they don't have any timeouts
they
left.
got no timeouts left and too much ground to cover. They can't afford to keep it on the ground. This pass is complete. Page makes the grab right at the first down marker. Remember, no timeouts left. The clock now down to 1 minute. A field goal would win it.
Stephon Page is hurt, and they are going to be charged to timeout and, I believe, time off the clock.
Final score in from that St. Louis Tampa Bay game. The Cardinals, once trailing by 28-3, come back to win it 31-28.
Stephon Page, you see there being taken down by Woodson. He turns his ankle, it appears. Maybe when he was getting up. No, he's faking. He's faking that. He's faking. They're going to be assessed a timeout. I don't think they have any timeouts left. In fact, I know they don't, but they may be assessed some time off that clock.
Don't forget the second half of the doubleheader coming up next. You'll either see the Dolphins against the Bengals in Cincinnati, or you'll see the Oilers against the 49ers in San Francisco. Houston in first place in the AFC Central. Pittsburgh needing a win to stay just one game behind, with a match coming up at Three Rivers against the Oilers next week.
Here you see Stephon Page being told to go down, or I'm going to stay down and get the official on my side. They're running some time off the clock right now, too.
They are running down the clock, as you can see, because the Chiefs didn't have any timeouts left. 17-16 Steelers. Chiefs have it with a first down at their own 48. Kenney got rid of it. It's dropped by Okoye. It's dropped by Okoye, and he had some running room.
Yes, he did. He had a full head of steam up, too.
Whoa, look at the look on Frank Gann's face. He says, oh, we had it.
This would have been like one of those cement rollers coming at you if Okoye had held on to this ball. Kenney gets a little pressure, steps away from it, gets the ball out to Okoye, who just simply takes off before he gets the ball in his hands. He's looking to see who he can run over.
40 seconds left. Pittsburgh by 1. 2nd and 10, Chiefs at the 48. Nick Lowry could be the man that decides it. Steelers were offside. This is a free play, and it's a good thing because Kenney is sacked. I believe Pittsburgh was offside.
That is what the call says. You know, we said going into the last 5 minutes, the team that makes the fewest mistakes this last 5 minutes.
Offside, defense. 5 yards, still second down.
The team that made the fewest mistakes during the last 5-minute period was going to win. And right now, that's going to come to bear.
You need a calculator, though, to count the mistakes and who's made fewer. 17-16 Steelers. 36 seconds left. 2nd and 5 Chiefs at the 47 of Pittsburgh. Carson dropped it. He had it at the 24. It bounded off his chest. Incomplete. He had it.
Oh, and there's no one in this stadium who feels worse than Carlos Carson right now. I think he was quite surprised that the ball went through Donnie Shell's hands. He just runs the pattern down the field. He's going to the sideline. Kenney puts the ball a little bit high, a little bit behind him, gives Shell a chance to make a play on it. He misses it, and he hit Carson right in the chest.
31 seconds left. 3rd down. And about 5 yards to go for the Chiefs.
Okoye out of the backfield. He's got the first down.
And out of bounds to stop the clock. The rookie who dropped one a moment ago grabs that one, picks up the first down, and takes it out of bounds. Right now, it would be about a 57-yarder. The ball at the 40. Be 7 yards back plus the 10 of the end zone. So still not quite in the range of Nick Lowry. His longest has been 58, but they want to get it a little closer if they can.
I think that 58-yarder was against the Seahawks.
25 seconds left. No timeouts for the Chiefs. They have the ball at the Steeler 40, trailing by a point. Kenney. He's in the grasp and control. It'll be ruled a sack at midfield. And that could be the biggest play of the game for the Steelers. And there's Mike Merriweather, who has done a great job today putting the pressure on Kenney. No timeouts left. 15, 14. Clock ticking away. Joe Green on the sideline. Kenney needs a completion.
Oh.
Got it at the 20. 1 second, and the game is over. Page made a great reception, but the Chiefs unable to stop the clock. And the Steelers hold on for a 1-point win. Page made a great reception, but time ran out. And it came down to those mistakes you talked about, Michael. A drop pass by Carlos Carson, well in field goal range, proved to be the difference in the game.
Well, you waste your timeouts and you drop the pass down inside the field goal range. You know you're going to make it. You just can't afford to win. Then you throw the ball over the middle like that. You've got to score. It's unfortunate that they did not get in.
Heart-stopping finish. The Steelers hold on to win it 17-16. We'll be back.